He's coming. He's like, hey, Chris.
Chris?
Do you remember us?
Yes. Yes.
See?
Okay. I see it. I just took a moment there.
You
Good
look
to
so
see you.
different.
They, get the haircut every 2 months, so I just told them just to buzz pretty much everything off and all that, so.
I'm trying to think, did you have a
Yes,
tea last time? Okay.
they have like a little single blade razor, so I just kind of, you don't like go past the stubble, you just kind of,
Just do the best you can, huh?
you just gotta go with that.
Yeah. How are you doing?
I'm okay, how about you guys?
Good.
Good.
I did not expect to see this, that's for sure.
Surprised.
Yes.
Well, let me put some fears aside. We're not here for what you might think we might be here for.
Well, they didn't know what that's a computer room. I was like, I didn't know we had a computer room.
Without computers.
Exactly.
So you remember, I talked to you, Tammy talked to you, Dave talked to you. We're all from Colorado. And so the last time we talked to you was a different situation, right? Our investigation was open and your case was open. That's completely different now. So your case is completely closed. Nothing about what we're going to talk about today has anything to do with an open investigation. So we're not here to get more charges on you or get any statements from you that are going to jam you up anymore, right? That's all done. So all of our cases are closed and the court case is closed. So there's nothing that we're going to talk about today that's going to get you in any type of more trouble at all. And so I wanted to make sure you knew that's not why we're here.
Okay.
But why we are here. So the three of us work from three different agencies, right? Quite a bit different. CBI, FBI, and Frederick PD. Different goals. And the things that happened with you kind of all brought us together. And as the months have passed on since everything happened, we just keep in touch with each other and we keep talking to each other. And we've all separately kind of said, did Chris seem unique to you? Me and Tammy have talked about this, Dave and I have talked about this. Did Chris's situation seem different to you? And we keep having that conversation. We can't quite put our finger on it, right? We think that your life leading up to all of the things that happened were very interesting to us. And for me personally, I don't know if you remember, but one of the last things you told me was, hey, Grahm, I'm sorry that I started lying to you. And that stuck with me for the last couple months. It's been ringing in my head, right? I've never ever worked a case like this where someone told me that ever, and so as I walked away I thought, Chris is different, Chris is a little bit unique in that regard. So in talking with Tammy and talking with Dave, I said, what did you feel like when it all went down, when we were there, when we were talking to you guys, and we all kind of, in our own different way and in our own different wording, said it all happened a bit too quick for us, right? So when we saw you last, we were talking and talking and talking about your family, about your parents, about everyone. And then the next thing you know, for me and Tammy and for Dave, all of a sudden some patrol officers came in and arrested you. And that was far quicker than we had hoped it would happen. And you understand why that happened, and we understand why that happened. But it left us with 1,000 questions that we didn't get to ask. And then even more importantly, I think it probably left you with 1,000 things that you didn't get to talk about with us. I don't know if you feel that way or not, but and so that's why we're here today. We wanted to kind of talk to you a little bit more about everything. I think there's a lot of things that you didn't get to talk about, and so that's why we're here. And it sticks with me that to this day, there's not one person that's told me, I saw it coming. I knew Chris was like that. I knew it. Not one person. So it's interesting to me, right? Not one. So we want to talk a little bit about that. Some of the people that we work with, your family, Shanann's family, have said, if you get to talk to Chris, would you tell him some things for me? So we have that to talk about today, and it's good. I think you'll like it. I think it will give you some closure. And so really that's why we're here. Are you available to talk to us?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right. So off the bat, if you have any questions, just tell us.
Okay.
If there's something that you don't want to talk about, that's okay. We might press you a little bit. Okay. We might say, Well, do you mind if we just maybe then ask one question? If something makes you uncomfortable, just tell us. If we need to take any bathroom breaks, we can take bathroom breaks. For anything like that. And we'll take bathroom breaks and water breaks ourselves too. So then, is there anything about your schedule today that makes it that you can't talk to us?
No, there was like a pass for this and the AM and the PM.
Okay.
They reserved the room the whole day,
Oh,
just
okay.
in case.
That's just what they do.
Okay, I didn't know if that was like two separate things or something.
I think you have to go back for lunch to get counted for or something.
Oh.
Accounted for.
Yeah, I think
11:30.
lunch is like 11, but the count is like 12:15.
So in general, how is it here?
It's a lot different than Colorado.
Was it?
It's
Good or bad?
It's better, I think, because it's here. I'm actually around other people. In Colorado, it was just like I was segregated, and it was like pounding on the walls all night, screaming, and just telling me
From other people?
Oh,
Really?
they were just telling me like how I should kill myself and like what they're gonna do to me and just like all that kind of stuff. So
Oh.
it was today. This is a lot different because people here don't seem to. It's not like they don't care, but it's just kind of like they don't like judge you as soon as you walk in. Colorado was like they knew why I was there and that was it. They were just like if they had 1 second alone with me, it would have been
Really?
they would, yeah.
Gee, man. Must be out then.
out of like what kind of jail. I don't know what it was like in DOC there, but like, they had to lock down the jail for me to walk down the hallway.
Wow. At Weld?
Mm-hmm.
So they had to make sure you were completely separated from anyone else. Jeez.
Wow.
Like I didn't see anybody else there. Like I was in the cell next to somebody, but like I never saw them.
You just hear them.
How did they know who you were?
I don't know. I just they make phone calls in there too.
Oh, okay.
And they got the newspaper in there before I got in there. So
Yeah. Have you been able to talk with family
oh
members?
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we get from 6 p.m. to 7:30. That's our on my unit's timeout. So we get to use the phone at that point in time.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And do they charge you for it, or?
Oh, it's just like it's like Securus or something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And how do you make money to pay for that?
They put money on the phone.
Oh.
So if I call, like if I was like to dial somebody's number, they have to have like a phone account set up.
Oh, I
Otherwise,
gotcha.
it's just restricted.
And then so who you call pays for it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Have you been able to talk to like family members and parents and all
Yeah,
that?
my mom and dad, my sister.
Okay. Good. Is that a good thing?
That's a good thing. Definitely.
Good, man.
Yeah, they don't hear from me. They're like, "Oh, what's wrong? What's going
Oh,
on?"
good.
Yeah.
And how was it with them?
And so far, so good.
Yeah. Yeah. It was hard to hear your parents at sentencing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I didn't know what they were gonna say.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. And so, yeah. I really appreciated what they said. I don't know about you.
I definitely it was. I didn't expect them to be there. I knew they were there on the 6th, on November 6th, but I didn't expect them to fly back, and they
Oh.
wanted to fly back for that. So.
Yeah. And then a lot what your mom said.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Okay. Good. Well, so we have 1,000 questions. I'm sure you do too. Do you care if we start, or do you have any questions for us?
Go ahead. We'll start.
All right. So one of the things that we're battling with is, and I won't make any assumptions today. So, are you aware that this was a national story?
After a little while, it was. I didn't talk to my parents while I was in Colorado
Okay.
because my attorney team told me, all right, no phone calls, no letters, no nothing.
Okay.
So like I made one phone call when I was in the segregation area there, but my dad thought it was like somebody like a news.
Oh.
Somebody trying to call.
Oh.
because
So
it
he
was
didn't
Colorado
answer?
number. Yeah, so he didn't answer. But other than that,
Okay.
I didn't talk to anybody. But from what some of the deputies were saying, that or my attorney team coming in and said, this is like they've got people from Australia, England, and all kinds of people trying to figure out what's going on. So.
Did they send you any other letters, like fan mail or anything? Well.
I got letters, but I couldn't keep them
Okay.
with me, so like I could read them like on my hour out. But it's like I got a bunch of just letters that had no return address and stuff that was just not very good letters.
Yeah.
So
Okay. They came from a weird perspective, didn't they? From what we had heard.
definitely, there was one person I guess from Broomfield that was like writing like 4 times a week trying to come visit me, and then there was just a lot of people like writing notes like basically drew markers saying, like you're a monster, or, all kinds of crazy stuff.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about some hard issues today, but I don't intend to take you to a dark place today.
Okay.
I hope that when we're done, you'll feel better. I hope it'll be therapeutic. We're going to talk about, obviously, what happened with your family. And so that's going to be hard to talk about. I appreciate anything you can tell me about it. If you need to take time out, if you need to get a tissue, that's fine, right? I think it'll be very good for you. It'll be good for us. And so one of the reasons I asked about that national attention is we were aware that you were getting a lot of letters, a lot of interest, and then us personally as law enforcement, we got so many people who claim to have known you, claim to have been with you, dated you, slept with you, and 99 times out of 100, they were just crazy people, right? And so maybe that's a good place to start. Had you heard about any of that?
John Watts, he told me about some dude from Wyoming.
Yeah.
Trent?
Yeah, that guy. That blew my mind. I was like, who the hell is this guy?
And who told you about that?
Attorney John Walsh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you mind if we talk about him?
Yes.
Graham and I interviewed him.
You had to?
Yes.
A waste of our lives.
Yes.
So Trent, in summary, Trent came in and said, met you online on a dating app, had a few, casual but quick sexual encounters with you. And let me be very clear. Not only are we not here to jam you up today, we're also not here to judge you. And if there is anything like that, you can imagine we've heard way worse, way different, So if it's true, I hope that you can just casually say, yeah, I mean, this happened. It wasn't as bad as he said, but maybe this happened. So his story was met online, met you, and it was a time when you were experimenting with maybe men. And so he said he met a couple times, met his friends, went to an apartment, had a couple of meetings in a parking lot, and then that was basically it. Does any of that sound familiar? Okay.
No, I never met the guy.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, he talked about being in your truck with your girls, like the whole 9 yards. So.
Okay. All right.
I've never even been to Wyoming, let alone
Okay.
driven up there to see somebody.
Yeah. And so this is maybe a weird question for you. Do you have any gay experience?
No.
Okay. Any interest?
No.
Okay. Never had a time experimented, wondered?
No.
Okay. Is it possible that he found you instead of you finding him?
From what John told me, to find me on like a WhatsApp.
Yeah.
I don't even have that app.
Okay.
You had my phone, so
Okay.
you could probably,
Yeah, we know.
you could probably saw what app I had. But I've never even heard of the app, but
Okay.
apparently, he told me, I met him through like a rehab center or something.
Is that what he said?
No, that was another guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was totally. I had no idea.
So did you see a picture of him on the news or anything?
John showed me a picture of him.
Okay.
He was like, well, this guy. I'm like, John was kind of, making fun of like, you know him? Sure. I'm like, no.
So you saw it and you were like, no way.
Yeah, I was just
Big
like-
lips. Did you see his giant
Yeah,
lips?
it was just like, I have no clue who this guy is.
And he's somewhat memorable. I mean,
Yeah.
If you met him or talked to him or got to know him, you might remember. He was kind of meek,
Yeah.
but also a little bit flamboyant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he did fake lip, or not fake lips, but injections.
Uh-huh.
He was very into skincare and makeup. And he mentioned that one of the times, just as a gift, you got him some skincare products.
Mm-hmm.
Does any of that sound familiar?
No.
Okay. You can imagine all the stuff we're dealing with. Okay, so that's one.
Mm-hmm.
Trent Bolds. There was another gal that you were dealing with.
Amanda McMahon. Have you ever heard that name? No.
John showed me a picture of her.
Okay.
Oh, you did see a picture of her too?
Yeah, he had like. Yeah, that's the same.
True.
Yeah,
Does that look familiar?
That's the same picture he showed me on the
Okay.
MSO one time. I was looking, I was like, who's that? He's like, oh, you don't know her either?
Yeah.
I was like, no.
Yeah.
He said it was like a Chick-fil-A parking lot rendezvous or something.
Right.
And that's just not true.
That's what she's
No.
claiming.
Okay.
Only went to one Chick-fil-A in Colorado. That was the one in Broomfield, Highway 7.
Okay.
That was it.
Okay. Do you feel comfortable enough today to tell us if there were other people?
Yeah, it was just Nicole.
Okay.
Guess.
And that was it?
Yeah, that was
Okay.
it.
As these people have come out, for the most part, we've not given their stories much credit. They're just crazy people who want attention. And so, but when that does happen, it does make us think, there may have been others. And so Nicole was the only one?
That was the only one.
Was there ever like a one-night stand with someone else just out of the blue and one and done?
No.
Okay. All right. Do you mind if we talk a little bit more about Nicole? Okay. So walk me through it, because that was one of the things we never really got to ask you about.
Right, we didn't
We just
talk
kind of
about
skipped
that.
on and talked about where the girls were. But so what happened there?
So it was probably around June 1st or something. That's when I first met her. And it was just like a work conversation. She messed with the gas meters that, we were out in the field. And I was messing up, and then, I took it to her like, hey, what's going on with this? Like, how do I fix it? And, after that, we just ran into each other a few times in the office, and I think it was probably the fourth time meeting. She had asked me, because like when we were talking back and forth, I would say, like we moved here from Colorado or from North Carolina and stuff like that, and then she's like, "What's all this weed stuff?" I'm like, I took out my phone and showed her a picture, like my girl's on the phone. She's like, "Oh, okay." She's like, "So you're doing?" Like, yeah. Like, I didn't wear a ring at work because like I sent the officer to get refitted when I lost all that weight. So, but
You lost so much weight that your fingers lost weight?
yeah, it was literally like I was out in the snow one time. I went like that, and my ring went off on the rocks. So I was just like, I was panicking trying to find out, like, I can't wear this anymore. But so after that, she left me alone for a couple days, and she texted me outside in the field. And then after that, we just kept texting back and forth, and it was just, just like, like she used to work in a little rig out in North Dakota, I think. And we just kind of trading stories back and forth about what we did and everything. And then one day, it just kind of went to a different level, and then I never thought I would ever go to that level, but she was talking about meeting up after we got back from San Diego.
You go to Shanann?
Yeah, we go to San Diego from the 22nd to the 26th of June, and we met up after we got back, and
How did you guys meet up?
at a park in Thornton. Thornton somewhere. And after that, we just kept seeing each other pretty much the whole month of July.
So let me ask you this. You tell me if I'm wrong. You strike me as somewhat of a shy person. So when you guys were meeting, was it just kind of very initiatory, like flirting at first? Okay. From both sides?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was just kind of like feeling each other out. It was kind of like,
Yeah. And so texts, any calls?
more near the end of June,
Okay. And what makes you remember that it's June that it happened?
because we called each other before I left to go to San Diego.
Oh, okay. All right. At first, did you think something might happen?
I just thought it was just flirting. I didn't think it was actually like something that would actually happen.
Yeah. Well, it's totally natural, right? I mean, everyone kind of flirts at work, right? Because the relationship between men and women is different. So if you're working with a girl at work, it's just kind of natural to flirt. I get it.
I wish I was just out in the field more instead of at the office those that month, but that's
Yeah.
what happened.
Yeah. I can kind of see it in your eyes. That's kind of where the path started, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, if I was like, because when I went from like a rover to a field coordinator, like I would spend more time in the morning time in the office trying to get everything like situated where we're going to go, everything like that. And, if I was a rover, I'd be more out in the field, and instead of like coming to the office like for more than an hour.
Right.
It just gave me more time to run into her, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. What did she know about you? Did she know you were married at first?
She did once I showed her the pictures
Yeah.
on the phone.
Yeah.
On the, like, the home screen picture and
Mhm.
everything.
So was your wife in that picture, or was it just your girls?
It was just my girls right there, but my wife was the lock screen.
Oh,
So she knew I was married and had kids.
Okay.
are you aware that she said she didn't know you were married? What
That's
did you
what
think about that?
I figured it was like, just trying to save face, trying to, just trying to, and something my sister said, it was like, just trying to keep things together. Or
Yeah.
just trying she phrased it a different way, but just kind of like, just like ground control, just trying to control everything that's going on around her, because I'm sure she got bombarded by all kinds of different sides from the media and everything. So. And
Have you
friends.
talked to her at all? No.
No. I'm
No.
hoping she hasn't like written me in a different alias or something. No, I'm not talking to her that way.
Oh.
And are you not allowed to talk to her?
I would hope that.
Okay. No one told you that then?
No, I mean I would expect like I thought like in Colorado it said like on a DOC list that if you're on like a victim list you can't call anybody.
Oh, right.
But here I'm not sure if that's the same. But
Okay.
I've just talked to my sister, my parents, some friends of my parents.
Okay.
Do you wish you could talk to her?
Maybe once just to
Just get some closure?
say like, hey, just once.
Yeah.
Just to say, hey, like, I'm sorry this all happened. I'm sorry. I'm not sure like what happened like afterwards, like what you went through, like if you had like counseling, if you're like, different state, if you had to leave everything behind. I just wanted to let you know I'm sorry, and that's not something I ever saw in my life happening or happening to somebody else either.
Would you be alright if we told her that?
That's fine.
Do you want us to? Do you want us not to?
And if she would want to even talk to you guys, I mean, I'm not sure if someone contacted her, but I'm sure she'd answer your phone call more than an attorney phone call that she didn't want to call. Answer.
Oh, so your attorney tried to call her and she wouldn't answer?
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember her phone number, but after that they figured out, I guess, where she lived. And they left a call, business card there. And she just, pretty much after like the 5th attempt, she said, stop going around.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure she's getting bombarded like everyone else, so.
And hopefully it's calmed down since, but I'm sure like, I just hope she can like, I don't know if there's like normalcy for her, not since she's on the outside, but I'm hoping it can get that way at some point. I'm not sure if she had to leave Colorado or not, but I'm sure like that would have been hard if she did.
Mm-hmm.
I know Anadarko was her dream job, so that's one thing I always like asked my attorneys is like, did she have to leave? Like, did she have to do anything at work? Because that was one thing. So she always told me that was her dream job. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What does she mean?
Like an oil company in Anadarko is like, I mean, unless you're working for like BP or like ConocoPhillips or something.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Anadarko's like,
It's like big leagues.
yeah.
Can I ask kind of a tough question? Did you love her?
I felt like it was true.
Yeah. I think so too. I think it was the same from her. Okay. Tell us about the time you spent with her.
Well, I mean, it felt like it was, I think like when you say like I was more like a shy guy, it's kind of like I've never like been pursued by anybody before. It's kind of like I was the one, trying to pursue. Because like when me and Shanann met, it was like, she was always like pushing me away, kind of like,
She was sick for a while, right?
Oh yeah, she had just got diagnosed with lupus, and she was on like a bunch of different medications and stuff. And it was like, I guess I wasn't her type. And
You weren't her type?
I wasn't her type.
Okay.
Cause like she told me like when she first, because we had met.
She told you that?
Yeah.
You're not.
I remember you telling me that.
Yeah, it was like, when we first met, like it was at a movie theater. And my cousin's ex-wife set us up.
You were dressed like shit, weren't you?
I didn't.
I think that's what you told me.
Yeah, I didn't know like that.
They didn't have any games?
So she was fancy and he was in like shorts and tennis shoes or something, right?
Shoes and, like, I should have known the doorman, was in a suit. And I was just like, this isn't good. And like
Was
when
it at the theater?
It was a fancy theater, right?
it was
Kinda?
in Charlotte. It was called the Epicenter, and apparently they give you like champagne and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, this is a fancy date night theater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Movie
he came like he was going to a
Like I was
Cinemax,
Like
I was going to a bonfire
like a
or something.
AMC.
Like a play theater?
No, it was like you we
Movie
just watched
theater?
a normal movie, but it was like you can like drink champagne and like
Yeah.
have like get Jack and Coke inside the theater and just
Yeah.
sit there and just whatever. But like it's when she first saw me, she was like, I should probably just turn and talk to the bartender a little more. She's like, no, I'm not you're here to meet. But yeah, like I was like persistent trying to pursue something. liked her, and even on our first date, like I couldn't even eat anything really. I was just like,
Was you so nervous?
yeah,
Really?
yeah. She was just like chowing down, and she was like, you eat like a bird. I'm like,
Oh, that's
oh.
funny.
And she talked to my parents like months later. She was like, this guy just never ate. I was like, this guy eats like a trash disposal. I was like, no, not around me. I was like, well, I was nervous. I was just like, I was always like shaking and everything. But yeah, I was always pursuing her, and then just like finally I grew onto her. Like I would always like with her medications and stuff. I would always she had like 8 bottles of medication, so I would always get like her day and nights and kind of like put them all in that little flip open
Pill box.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff, and I would always be around her. I even went to her colonoscopy. She said after that she knew that was like kind of a keeper. It's like who goes to a colonoscopy after 3 months with somebody?
Right.
That's a little soon.
Well, she asked if she needed that ride. I'm like, yeah. She's like, you want to go across the colonoscopy with me? I'm like, sure, why not? Like I even sat with her while she drank that nasty stuff all day.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
Where she's in the bathroom
that's
all
a good
day.
test.
that clear stuff that doesn't really taste clear. Yeah, but yeah, it was. I mean, it felt like it was a great relationship. Everything was great.
Now you're talking about with Kissinger?
No, with
Or
talking about
Shanann?
and like in the first year, my parents never. I don't know. My mom was always kind of hesitant.
Why?
I was the baby, I guess. I never, I never had a girlfriend in high school, so it's kind of like she never like really saw me like.
Oh, interesting. So she's kind of watching her baby walk out a little bit.
Yeah, because when I turned 18, I graduated. I never moved back
Okay.
at home. So
And
my
how
sister
old-
moved back and forth all the time. So
How old were you when you met Shanann?
I was 25. It was 2010. So
Okay.
So no serious girlfriends before that?
nothing more than like 6 months or so. Yeah, there was some girls here and there, but just nothing more than like the last girlfriend I had before Shanann, she was just actually got divorced, and I should never did that. But it was more of like I was kind of like helping her get through her divorce. It seemed like she went on to somebody else. I'm like, oh, nice to know.
You're the rebound guy?
The rebound guy.
Pretty much, but that's how it goes.
Would you say that in your relationships with women, it seems to me, and you tell me if I'm wrong, it seems to me like you're attracted to maybe a more dominant personality?
It seemed like it because I'm more of the just reserved. I mean, I just kind of like go with the flow type.
Yeah.
And like Shanann usually made all the decisions. It seemed like so.
I get that. I'm the same. Yeah. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. I don't think that's right with you, but.
So then, and I know it's hard to keep bouncing back and forth, but and one of the reasons we're here is we just keep telling ourselves, Grace just does not fit the mold. Grace does not.
No.
Like it just blows us away what happened, right? And so we will do a little bit of bouncing back and forth, and that's really just to get to know you a little bit better, because we never really got that chance, did we? We were
Met you
talking.
twice.
Yeah.
Met you once.
Yeah.
Probably like 3. Well, you remember 3 or 4 times probably.
So then do you call her Nikki or Nicole?
I would call her Nikki.
Okay.
I know there's so many Nikki's and Nicoles in this.
Right, there is.
that I got confused.
So we'll call her Nikki.
Okay.
So then with Nikki, was it different?
It just seemed like I was more in control. It seemed like, and that never happened. And like she'd actually like asked me like my opinion on a lot of things and just like what I wanted to do, and just kind of like, okay,
That was new, wasn't it?
very new.
Oh, that's fascinating to me. And so did it feel more like an equal partnership, or?
It seemed like it.
Yeah. Okay. So then when it was date night, would you guys talk about it? Would you ask to go somewhere, or would she say, I want to go somewhere? Was it too fast?
The first time we went out, it was to a movie over at the Orchard, off the 144th over there, and I asked her like, "Hey, you want to go see this movie?" And like, she's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay, cool." And we got there, it was sold out, and normally you probably just have just wait 2 hours, like just go home, but now she just wanted to walk around and just talk. I'm like, okay.
Oh, wow.
So that was different, and I think she wanted to go to the car museum, Shelby Museum in Boulder. I've never been there, and
That was right up your alley.
Oh,
You're a mechanic.
I was just like, that was awesome just to walk around cars for like an hour or so. And then, drag race in Vandermeer.
Okay.
And I haven't been to a drag race since 2008. And that was in Charlotte.
Okay.
It was like that was a lane drag strip over there. And it's like the NHRA, the Top Fuel, and fun car stuff like me and my dad used to grow up.
Yeah.
Go there like all the time. And then like went camping in Sand Dunes National Park, and I'd never been camping. I always wanted to do it. Thought it was she'd done it like countless times. I
Oh,
guess.
really?
So,
Okay. She's outdoorsy?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, she's I guess every time like she needed to clear her head, she'd just go by herself, just go somewhere.
Oh.
Yeah.
So she's a completely new type of person and relationship.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What were you thinking this whole time? Like, in the back of your head?
In the back of my head, I was just telling myself, what are you doing? Like, every time, I open up my phone, I can see pictures and, like, of my wife and my kids, and I'm just like, what am I doing? And then, like, every time I was with her, it seemed like I didn't think. It seemed like it was like a blinder that was in my face.
Oh.
And it just, like, every time I look back on it, like, like I have pictures of my wife and kids and myself, and like every night, or every morning, every night, I just, talk to them, say like I have like this book I used to read for CC, and I remember that book, so I read that to them like every night, and like there's some scripture and stuff that I read to them, so I just try to think back, like I wish this never happened. And just like I wish that blinder wasn't on my head, wasn't in my eyes. That would have seen what was going on. Like, I was having, like, everybody says, oh, you're just out there having fun while your kids, or kids and wife are on vacation. I'm just like, no, it wasn't like that. But it seemed like that's what it looked like when you're going, you're going to camping, you're going to drag race, going all this other stuff that you have fun doing, but you're with somebody else. It's not your family. It just didn't seem right. With her, it just didn't seem like I could even see that anymore. Yeah. I was there at her house pretty much every night, so it was like I didn't have that time at home just to really think about anything. Because literally, I didn't, like, I was only at home from like when I got home from work. I worked out, I ate dinner, and then I went over to her house. Like I never slept in my house in like the whole month of July.
Now, talk me through that though. When you said you went home and then you were at her house, was that while Shanann was gone? Oh, okay. So you weren't even at your house.
No.
This all happened so quickly, didn't it?
It was insane quickly. Like I didn't, like, she even told me like she would never, in like a normal relationship, she would never have somebody over at her house like more than like once or twice a week, but she felt like she wanted me over there.
Yeah.
She said she felt comfortable with me over there.
Yeah.
So it was just like, that's what was different, like she wanted me over there. But I just wish that all that would just go away. I just wish I'd almost like I know it's hard, I know it's wrong to say I wish I'd never met somebody, but I wish I'd, maybe met her at work and then just kept it that way.
I think if we had a time machine, I don't think this would happen again. Because some people, when this happens, you're like, well, if it wasn't this time, it would have been next time, or it would have been the next time. It just wouldn't have happened with you, would it? And it happened so quickly that, you tell me if I'm wrong, you're not the type of guy to take control sometimes when you need to.
Yeah,
it seems like that's just what happened.
Yeah, I didn't take control of this situation. It just like the situation controlled me.
Right, it just happened. No, I get that, man. I'm somewhat passive myself, and it's like, there's situations where I'm like, well, why did I let that keep going?
Yeah, I don't know why. It was like a roller coaster ride that I just kept punching and taking on, and I just never let me get up.
Yeah. Can we talk about the hardest subject? So when we were talking, the last time we talked, the last thing we talked about was where the girls were, but we never really got to talk about that night. So what happened?
So nothing really happened that night. It was in the morning.
Okay.
It was, you know, me and Shanann, she got home like at 2 o'clock. And, you know, I felt her get into bed. And I just felt like I didn't feel it. I just made sure I looked at my phone at 2 o'clock and make sure she's okay, she's in there. And I could kind of feel her kind of stirring around a little bit. And I just had a feeling that she knew like what was going on. Because I mean, obviously, I didn't use like an NRCO gift card, you know, that I'd gotten. I'd used my actual credit card, and I kind of just felt like something. She knew what was going on, and she started rubbing her hand on me, and we ended up having sex. But I guess that was more like a test.
Oh,
I would have thought.
interesting. Okay. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
because when we talked, when I woke up or later on in the morning, like, you know, I pretty much, you know, told her, like, you know, I didn't think it was going to work anymore. And she was like, what happened? What was last night? You know?
Mhm.
So I figured that's called the test after I've gone through everything in my head.
That makes sense.
And she just told me, you know, like, to get off of her. And she was like, I knew there was somebody else. I knew there was somebody else. I knew there was somebody else. I couldn't bring it up. I couldn't just say, yes, there is somebody else. But then she said, you're never going to see the kids again. You're never going to see them again. Get off me. Don't hurt me. And then,
Is that what she said?
because like when I climbed in bed, that was pretty much like on top, pretty much like straddling her kind of deal.
Okay.
And she thought I was gonna like, you know, hurt her or hurt the baby or something. So, because she knew that, like, you know, something had happened. She thought I was just trying to, you know, just check out or something. So,
Okay.
and that's when that happened.
I know it's hard, but do you mind if we talk just a tiny bit deeper about that? So she comes home, you know, she touches you, you guys have sex. It seems like she's doing her test, which I understand. Sounds like you do too.
I'm sure, like, you know, Nikki or not Nikki, Cole Atkinson or Cassie probably told her, you know.
That's what I was thinking, right? They talked about it during that whole weekend.
More than like that. That's my parents told me there was like going through like text messages. It's like all like pretty much they all kind of just told her he's with somebody else type of deal.
Yeah. And she spent a lot of time with the gals. That's what they did probably all weekend is talk about it, give her advice. I think that's what we found, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So she comes home. You guys have sex. And then did you fall asleep between then and going to work?
Yes.
Okay. So then at some point, does she wake you up or is it you waking up for work?
My alarm was.
Oh, okay. And you're going to work out.
Mhm.
But then that's when she started wanted to talk more. And she was pretty mad? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it was. I had already kind of knew that. You know, using that credit card, it was kind of. It was.
Was that intentional?
Yeah.
I had no other way to do it.
Oh.
I used, like, because I got these NRCO gift cards from, like, you know, doing good stuff at work and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and I had used them all.
Oh. Was part of you just like, screw it, whatever, I don't care. I'm using this card.
Part of me just wants to say, Nikki, can you pay for this? But I don't know.
Yeah.
Even, I think, from my attorney said she even noticed I used a different card, like a blue card.
Oh.
Maybe she thought, you know, like I felt comfortable enough just using a normal bank account or something, but, you know, I told her I was going to Rocky. I told you I was going to Rocky.
Yeah.
It was just like, you know, it felt like, you know, like looking back at everything, like just like reading the scripture more and more now, I can see, like, you know, God gave me opportunities to get out. Like even my friend Jeremy Lindstrom, he even invited me because like it was his daughter that came and watched the kids on that Saturday night. And he was like, hey, you said we're going to a Rocky game. You want to go to me with the Bronco game and watch the Arizona Cardinals? Like, in my mind, it was like, you know, go. Just say, hey, I can't find a babysitter. Bye.
To Nikki?
Yeah. And maybe that would have been like, you know, like a light switch in my head goes off, light switch in her head goes off. Maybe it just like goes different directions. that was kind of like my last like opportunity to kind of get out. It seems like, because I wish I would have said, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
And I think that would have just put me on a different trajectory.
So then, Shanann, did she actually say you're never going to see the kids again?
She said that to me before.
Yeah. That's kind of hard to hear.
Yeah, because she'd said to me before she went to Arizona. Because like I wasn't really sleeping in the bedroom, I was sleeping on the couch or in the basement bed or something, and like she had slammed the door. You're never gonna see the kids again. So, yeah.
Did she get fiery like that?
Only once in our entire relationship I've ever seen her that way.
Yeah. And that was a time before, or was that on the night that it happened?
No, it was probably back in North Carolina.
Oh.
It was just like one of those. It was just a fiery argument that.
Yeah.
I never raised my voice to her or anything, and I just got mad and I slammed the door, and she was like, oh. I'm like, should have slammed the door.
Was that when you were in North Carolina that last week?
No, it was like
previous to
this
that.
is like 2010, 2011.
Oh.
It was like early.
Okay.
In her old house.
Before kids?
Yes.
Were you dating or were you married at that point?
Dating.
Oh.
Yeah, it was just like I don't remember what it was about. I think some girl maybe texted me like from my past or something, and like I was just like, this, and she was like, don't have that happen again. And I'm just like, I can't have friends.
Right.
They're females. Like I don't even talk to this woman anymore.
Right.
And it was just like, nope.
Was she fiery? Did she have that Italian blood that her mom has?
Good Lord, yes.
Was she always like that, or was she? Did she snap at things?
She wouldn't snap at me, but you could tell, like, something really irked her a little bit.
Yeah.
It would come out.
0 to 100 type thing, or what?
0 to 200.
Oh, interesting.
She gets acclimated about something. She's like, all right, it's gonna happen.
Well, that's why she was probably so successful at Thrive, right?
Oh yeah, like she had done a couple other like direct sales business, but this one was just like it was different.
Why?
This one like. Because I think she had done like Origami Owl and like something called like It Works, and then like other couple other things like some bags and stuff like that. With the supplement stuff, it just because it worked with her, it worked with me. She's like, okay, I can kind of like use this as like, all right, this is what it's doing for us.
Yeah.
And then like after a little while, like she could see how like people are above her, how it was helping them, and then it was just like trickle down effect. It was like a good system about like commission wise and everything was just she could use all the business IQ she has from running those cell phone shops and from the Dirty South custom shops and all that. I mean, she's business minded.
Yeah.
She knows how to do an accounting book like the back of her hand. So it all just like fell into place with all that.
So then on that night, was it just a new type of fight?
It was
never had, or what? What happened?
Yeah, it was a totally different type of fight. It was like, it was just felt like I don't know, it was more anger than anything else. Like there was emotion to it at first, and then it just felt like it was just anger. It was just like like there was no love there. It was kind of like what we were saying, what she was saying. It was just like it's almost like we knew like something was combating at each other. We didn't know, like, it wasn't ourselves.
Really?
No.
Anger from you or anger from her?
I think it was more anger from me and more like desperation from her because she wanted to fix it.
Yeah.
She knew something wasn't right. Like, like when the whole thing with my parents happened with my parents called it Nutgate.
What happened?
Nutgate.
What's that?
With the peanut.
Oh,
nuts in the
yeah.
bowl or whatnot.
Oh, with her family?
Yeah.
Pistachio ice cream or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, people
Nutgate.
call it nut.
I haven't heard that.
I haven't heard that either.
Yeah, I guess what people are calling it.
Okay.
But that was like another out. Like maybe I could have just like stopped everything with Nikki and just kind of concentrated on helping like whatever happened there. Because like Shanann had a story, my mom had a story. Like whatever happened, I probably asked my 10-year-old nephew. Probably can tell me what actually happened.
Well, and they both have their feelings for good reasons, and they both didn't see it the other person's way. And
Yeah, and like maybe because I didn't talk to my parents from then on until like August 6th. And like, you know, my dad took that whole week off.
You didn't talk to your parents from then on?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because like Shanann was like, do not talk to them, do not call them, do not do anything.
Is that what she said?
Yeah. And the Cece's birthday was 17th, but I think the actual birthday party was like a couple days after.
In August?
July.
July?
Yeah. And like my mom or my dad was gonna go, but then there was like a post on Facebook about, you know, allergies and stuff like that Shanann had made, and my dad was like, nah, I just can't do it anymore. Just like, because
He perceived that as her taking a shot type thing?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, she always says she never, you know, put those posts directed at anybody, but she had a method.
If you read them, you know who she's
Yeah.
talking about.
She had a method to the madness, and you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I wish I could have just took more time just to fix that. Because like I wanted my parents to be involved. Like since, you know, like the whole wedding thing, and then up to that, it was like, you know, my mom and my sister were always like, you know, combating with Shanann combating with them. My dad was always cool. Like he's just like me. He's just like, you know, go with the flow. Like I just want everybody to get along type deal.
Chicks, man.
I loved your dad.
Ronnie's the best.
Isn't he? I
So-
loved your dad.
I'm sorry, keep going.
That's cool. I just wish I could have, like, just when we were at the beach in August. Like my dad was supposed to take the whole week off just so we could see the kids and like see me and like we have a cookout at my sister's house or something. And then, but we just pretty much spent 5 days at the beach, and Shanann had like booked it so like, you know, I mean, I don't want to say like punishment for them not to see the kids, but like I wanted them to see it, see them. You know, just I wish I could have fixed all that. And I even like when I was at the beach, I told Shanann that it was more like what was going on was more like I feel like, you know, because my dad's my hero, I feel like I've lost like something in my life. I haven't been talked to him for 3 weeks. I haven't been see the kids for 3 weeks, you know, on FaceTime or anything. And I wanted them to be able to have that relationship. And she was pretty much gung ho, like she tried to kill my daughter by giving her pink. I was like, I don't think she gave it to him.
And that was that her stance? Is that your mom?
Put something in front of Cece.
Like to kill her, or
No,
just
just like
Didn't care.
like
Didn't pay attention.
she thinks that allergies and like this state of age is like people think, oh, you'll be
Like it's
fine.
made up
Like
kind of
Yeah,
thing?
he'll be fine. He'll just have a rash. He'll be fine. I've seen Cece, you know, like the first time. Well, I've seen a picture of when he had a cashew the first time. It wasn't good. And then she had kiwi the second time, and then the same thing happened. And I know it's real.
So you know it's serious, yeah.
Yeah, it's not like, it wasn't like her throat like closed up, but she broke out in this full body rash that looked really crazy looking, and luckily, like, you know, nothing with her throat like happened. But
So did that make you angry at your mom for doing that?
yeah, I mean, I just like, Mom, you just gotta, I told her you need to think, you need to like, you know, pay attention. Just because another kid can have something doesn't mean another kid can have something. Because like when we were at that birthday party at Jeremy's that Sunday, you know, they had this cake there. Like Bella wanted it so bad. I'm like, can't give it to you because Cece can't have it. She was like, you know, okay. And all the other kids were like, if they can't have the cake, you know. Like I just kind of took them off and gave them some like one of those frozen pops or something. But you know, it's just like she had to learn that just because one kid can have something and there's another kid that can't have it for a legitimate reason, like, you know, she couldn't have done it. But you know, that's the kind of talk I had with her when Shanann called me. I think it was maybe like middle of July or something when she told me all this had happened. That's when I called my mom and talked to them for a while, and then they're just like, you know, they just couldn't deal with her anymore. Shanann just kind of like, you know, they like flipped out. My nephew told Bella to go hide behind the curtain because I don't think your mom was going to let you come over here again or something like that.
Oh.
So it got heated.
Oh, it was bad.
Really?
Yeah, it was like a last straw between them, I think.
Like in the same room or over the phone?
No, they were at
They were
at my
really
mom's
heated.
house. Yeah, because Cece and Bella and my niece and nephew were there.
Okay.
How did Shanann find out about the ice cream thing?
Because Shanann was there, and I guess they were all sitting one of those couches, kind of like a U, and my niece went into the kitchen, and she knew where the ice cream was. She'd been there. She's been there.
So it's not like your mom gave it to her? Like she got
no,
her own
no,
ice
she,
cream?
yeah, she went in the freezer, got it, went out, and sat beside Cece and started eating.
Oh,
But like, it's just a matter of like Cece could go like
Right.
Right.
like that. Now, I don't know what would happen if she just got it on her hand,
right.
but like I know on like the prick test, you know,
Mhm.
on the back, it's like a welt.
So were they staying there at your parents' house during that time? 'Cause
Yeah, it was. So they would go from from Sandy and Frank's house
Yeah.
for like a few days or 5 days, and then go to my mom and dad's house for
Yeah.
a couple days and kind of
Okay.
bounce back and forth.
Okay. So it happened during that time.
Mhm.
They were there. Yeah. Okay.
And so there were so many things that happened, weren't there? They just were little tiny ingredients to this
Yeah,
recipe.
Yeah, nothing like
It's nuts, Chris. I mean, it's just so many things just didn't go your way.
everything was like like somebody was stirring a pot, and it would just
Yeah, that's exactly what it was like. So then, I know I keep bringing it up. Can you walk me through just the last few minutes before Shanann died?
It was pretty much just like I had gotten dressed for work, and then like we started talking.
Did she come to you?
No, I was just right there in bed.
Oh,
I just,
okay.
Yeah, so I was just like I got my blue shirt on, my jeans and everything.
You ready to go?
I was ready to go, and
Was she asleep, or did you have to wake her up to finish your conversation? Or?
I would wake her up because like she got home like 2 o'clock, so she pretty much out of it. But I never knew like if her plane got delayed. Someone always told me like she just like sat around with Nicole and just like talked for a while and then came home or something. I'm not sure if that
Yeah,
was ever true.
it was delayed. Yeah.
But yeah, when she came home and everything, but yeah, like I woke her up to talk to her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And is that because it was just eating at your brain?
Yeah, like I knew like, you know, something like something didn't feel right with me. So I know like she knew. I just knew she knew. I just felt like maybe the kids weren't going to be there when I got home that day.
Oh, interesting. Now, I don't mean to offend, but I have to ask, is that really the truth? Okay.
I really felt like they weren't going to be there when I got home that day.
Oh. And
Like
so,
she would take them somewhere?
No,
Or-
I just felt like either maybe I wouldn't go home, maybe they weren't going to be there, or I wouldn't be allowed in, type thing.
I think I saw some text messages where Shanann talked about that she would take the kids to another state or something because she wouldn't be able to afford to live in Colorado or something like that. Did she say that kind of stuff to you, or
Yeah.
what did she say about that?
She said she couldn't afford to live in Colorado on her own, and that I told her like, well, you know, drive. I mean, she pretty much makes the same amount I do,
Yeah.
but she said she wouldn't want to try, just because you know Colorado just price of living there was a lot higher than North Carolina.
And just so I'm clear, you thought maybe in your mind, you thought maybe she would take the kids somewhere else or like lock you out of the house or.
Or just like, you know, I wouldn't want to make a scene, like, you know, trying to like pound on the door, trying to get in or anything like that. But like,
Mhm.
I just felt like, you know, that was what I did on Sunday. You know, it was kind of like, or Saturday night was kind of like the last straw. Kind of like going out with somebody and using an actual bank account card and just like not trying to hide it at all.
So walk me through it though, because she comes home, she touches you, you guys have sex, you fall asleep, then you wake up for work, all natural, all, you know, a normal day's work type thing.
Yeah.
What was it that made you think, I just can't do this anymore, I have to talk to her?
It was eating away at me. Like I
Yeah.
knew like something. I knew everything that I did. Like I know like when I was with Nikki, it was different. Like I wasn't even like in the realm of I'm a dad, I'm a husband type thing.
Oh,
And then like I was saying, when I'm never at home, like sleeping in my own bed, like I have no like concept of that anymore.
interesting.
'Cause it
So
was
in your
kinda-
mind and heart, you can live moved on.
Like it kind of felt like if I wasn't at home, like I didn't think about it almost, because like if I wasn't sleeping on my own, like I think there was at one point like Nikki had gone to the mountains with her friends for like a few days, like into June, first part of July, and then like that part, obviously I was home, but like from that whole month of July on, it was like I was never at home. Like I never had all those reminders around me. I never had, like every time my wife would call me, I would be at Nikki's house.
Oh, while she was in North Carolina?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would like, walk outside and talk to her, like when I was next to the car or something like that. But I would never be at home looking like, have all these pictures around me, just being in the same bed, seeing my kids' beds, seeing everything that, that we go for the last 6 years.
And so, did you just want to once and for all get it out in the open?
I just wanted to just tell her how I was feeling at that point in time. Like, I didn't feel like me and her were compatible anymore. Honestly, I didn't feel like that because what was going on with Nikki, it was new. It was new.
Right, absolutely.
Anything that's new always feels better than the old.
Yes. And it
You were
makes think
probably
differently
bitten
about
by the love bug.
Yeah,
That's how a lot of therapists talk about it. Yeah.
It was just like, I never felt that. I mean, even like with new relationships in the past, like it always feels different, like, the first couple weeks and then, but it just, with someone Nikki felt different. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just like you said, like, I was more in control and like, it was more of like, maybe more of me coming out. Because Shanann always said, like, it always seemed I was more myself around other people, like, her cousin Cody, like, Cody lived or came up, visited us for a little bit while we were in Colorado for a little while, and Cody always talked about, like, how Chris is so funny, Chris is like, Shanann would always just like, why are you never like that with me? I'm just like, maybe I always felt nervous around you.
There's only so much oxygen in the room, right? I say this to some people with dominant personalities,
I just always felt nervous. I always felt like I was, I never could actually just, be myself.
Right.
Nikki, I was myself, like, all the time. It was just different.
Well, and it seems as though, and again, hard to talk about, and you tell me if I'm wrong, but it also seems, is it accurate to say that sexually you were able to say, Nikki, this is what I would like, this is what I'm into, or blah, 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 and maybe not what Shanann?
No, Nikki just wanted, she wanted what she wanted. She wanted to do it pretty much all the time. I was just like, okay, that's fine with me.
Okay.
With Shanann, it was just like, hey. Sometimes it happened, sometimes it didn't. But that wasn't the case as far as that way. It wasn't just like sex or whatnot. But it was mainly, I was just more myself. I could just not think about what I was going to say or plan what I was going to say or not, say something stupid or something. But,
Right.
A little bit of freedom.
Can I ask you something about that morning that you had sex with Shanann? Did you feel at all like maybe you were kind of cheating on Nikki by doing that?
I felt strange. I felt like, the first time I was with Nikki, I felt weird. First time,
Sure.
And then the last time I was with Shanann, I felt totally strange. I was just like, I didn't know who I was. I didn't know who I had become. I felt like I had become people I see on TV, and that did not feel right with me. Like, I didn't know what had happened to me. So Nikki even asked me, like, have you done this before? Have you ever strayed away? I'm like, I've never even thought about it. It's like, what's different? It's like, I guess it's just you that's different, because I just never actually, like, I've seen girls smile at me before, never done anything about it. With her, it was just like, it's like she had a leash on me and she tugged me away. As soon as she walked, I'm like, what the heck is going on? So.
Well, and Tammy brings up a very good point. I wonder if that last time with Shanann having sex had somewhat of a role in you thinking,
like a trigger?
I got to do something. I got to say something. We got to have a talk. Something's got to change. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I felt like it was like maybe like a trigger point or something, like you hit the push button on a bomb and it just blows up.
Right.
Just something in my head was just like something was irking. Just like I had to say something.
Okay. So then, exactly what did you say and what happened?
So when I woke her up, and just like, hey, we just gotta talk.
Okay.
And I told her, I don't feel compatible. I don't feel like this is gonna work. I just, I don't want to. Like, can we cancel the trip to Aspen? And she had booked a trip that week to go to some like mystery 4-star luxury hotel or something.
Just the two of you or the whole family?
Just me and her.
Okay.
And she had Amanda Thayer couldn't watch the kids that weekend or something.
Okay.
And I was just like, can we cancel that? Can we like do something? Like, from what I remember, I even said, can we move to Brighton just to get away from like this house?
Oh.
But like, I'm not sure if that was like in the beginning or the end of part of the conversation or whatnot. that conversation went so many different ways. Like they'd gone from like staying together to not staying together to just like all the above.
Okay. So this is half an hour, what?
Definitely not more than half an hour. I don't think.
Okay.
I don't think.
Are you crying? Is she crying?
It's back and forth. It's like, you know, she's got, you know, mascara. She didn't wash her face when she got home. So she had makeup on still, so mascara was running all over her and stuff like that. And yeah, it was nothing about that conversation. I just wish I could take all of it back. Just to be, just the whole Nikki thing back, everything. But
So then when did it turn?
as far as that conversation, just at the end when I was telling her, like, I told her I didn't love her anymore. That's when it happened.
What happened?
She told me to get off her, and then I put my hands on her.
Okay.
Did you say she said something like that you were hurting the baby or something?
That was before that, because when I was straddling her, it was kind of like around her waist type deal.
Why did you get on her like that?
I just, when we got on the bed, that's just where I got on.
Is that so she would listen to you?
I felt like, I mean, she could probably listen to me just laying beside her, but I got on top of her. And every time I think about it, I'm just like, did I know I was going to do that before I got on top of her? I don't know.
Really? That's an interesting thought, Chris. You don't know if you knew.
Just like everything that happened that morning, I don't know, like I try to go back in my head, I'm just like, I didn't want to do this, but I did it. Everything just kind of like...
I felt like you had to?
It just felt like it was... I don't even want to say it felt like I had to. It just felt like there was already something in my mind that was implanted that I was going to do it, and then I woke up that morning, it was going to happen, and I had no control of it.
You never thought about it before?
It was just like, I don't want... Like when... Like you said, like in the sentencing hearing, that prosecutor said it takes 2 to 4 minutes for something like that to happen. Like, why couldn't I just let go? I didn't.
Oh, that's interesting.
Okay, I just let
Was
go.
it feeling like it was in motion and you just couldn't stop it?
Yeah, it was just like, I don't even want to know what she saw when she looked back at me, honestly.
Did you look at her? What was she doing?
She wasn't fighting.
Why do you think she wasn't fighting?
I don't know, maybe she was praying, maybe she was just... Now I read the Bible, it said, like, or the scripture says, don't forgive these people for they do not know what they do. Maybe she was saying that. I don't know what she was saying in her head, but she, like when you guys told me, like, take off your shirt and check for defensive wounds, and like, there wasn't going to be any. She didn't fight. I don't know why.
Like she didn't grab, could she grab your arms, or were her arms pinned down, or?
Not that I remember. I don't think so. I mean, I don't think, like, I moved to where my knees were around her arms or anything, but it was just kind of like when I got on top of her, we started talking, that was it. It's kind of like in my head, or like in the back of my head, that was going to happen, and just like at the end of the conversation, it was just like, that's what happened. I just wish I could have let go.
Did it seem like it was that long, 2 to 4 minutes? How long did it seem for you?
Almost kind of felt like it was longer almost, because it felt like time was standing still. It's kind of like I just saw my life just disappearing before my eyes, but it just like I couldn't let go. It was like somebody else, like if you picture somebody else around you, holding your hands, holding you, keep you from not letting go.
At some point there was a statement about rage. Do you feel like you were in a rage at that point?
That's the only way I can describe it, honestly. Like a snap, or something. I mean, I know. I guess my attorney had said like some, strangulation is more of like a, I don't know, passionate type thing. I'm just like, I don't know how that can be passionate.
It's just intimate because you're right in there,
Yeah.
using your own hands. It's a lot different than someone standing across the room and you shooting them or something like that. So,
it just felt like somebody was like behind me, just like, I just couldn't let go.
It's interesting to me because there was a lot of things in your life that were like that, right? Where you're just like, maybe felt out of control, or maybe felt like, I don't know why I couldn't take a step back, or, you know, like even when you said, when your buddy was like, let's go to the football game, you wanted to say yes, you just couldn't.
Yeah, I wanted to. Like, I haven't been to a football game since North Carolina, so I was just like, yeah, sure. Like, I wanted to say that.
Yeah.
I wanted to just text him, hey, you know, babysitter fell through, let's go.
So, then what?
Just, after, you know, Shanann was, I guess, when she was gone, it was just like, I didn't know what was going on. It's like, it was like a traumatic, I don't know what you call it, traumatic event type, and everything, and like, I was shaking, I didn't know what had happened. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what I had done. I still wasn't in that right state of mind. I don't think like I was in control of what I could think or what I could do at that point in time. Like most people say, like, why didn't you just call 911? Well, I was like, unless you're in that situation, you don't know. You don't know what you would have done. Mm-hmm. It's easy to play Monday morning quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that.
Like you said, if somebody shoots somebody, you don't know what was going through their mind at that point in time.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what you'd have done.
So what happened next?
Bella came in the room.
Is that what happened? Bella came in. What she said?
What's wrong? Wrong.
Did she hear something? Is that what she came?
Obviously, I think.
Okay. What'd you tell me?
Mommy don't feel good.
And then, did that happen with Bella right in that room?
Not in front of her.
What happened?
She walked in as, you know, she's docking up. She was sleeping.
Mm-hmm. Did you take her back to her room?
I put Shanann in that sheet that you found in the site.
Okay. And what?
Carried her downstairs and backed my truck up.
At that point, were the girls still there? Okay. So then Shanann's in the truck. Then you went back to the house.
And got everybody back in the truck.
Was Bella first or was Cece first?
In the truck?
Yeah, I'm sorry. So Shanann was first, and then Bella was next. Was Bella alive when you guys got in the truck? Oh, okay. What happened?
I woke back up.
Okay.
I don't really want to talk about this part, honestly.
Okay.
Those are my kids. This is my baby. I have to talk to them every night. Help us get up.
Okay.
Every time I see pictures of them, I don't know how this could have happened. You know, being a dad was the best part of my life. I took it all away.
I think that's the hardest part for us, Chris, is we see those videos, we see that love that you had for your girls. Like, it's obvious to us, and even to us, it's hard for us to understand how a dad who's given piggyback rides and, you know, making snacks and watching princess movies and those kinds of things, how you get to that point, you know?
I don't know. Like I said, it was just like something else was controlling me that day. I had no control over what I was like to fight back.
Yeah.
Like when that prosecutor said that Bella bit her tongue, like repeatedly, I just wanted to just bang my head up against the wall.
So you put Shanann in the truck, and then you put the two girls in the truck? Were they just sitting in their car seats, or I guess they didn't probably have car seats in your truck, did they?
No, they were just sitting in the back with the, like in that bench seat.
So Shanann was back there too?
She was on the floor.
What did they say about Shanann being on the floor?
Mommy, okay?
What'd you tell them?
She'll be fine.
Did you have their stuff with them, like their toys and their blankets and stuff?
They had something with them that they carried. One of them, I think CC and Bella had like a blanket or something with them, like a pink blanket. Or
what about the dog? I think one of them had a dog, right? That talked, or dog?
Yeah, one of them had like a little barking dog.
Was that with you too? Do you know?
I think it was. Try to. It's hard to remember. Like if they had like the big blanket, small blanket.
So, I think I saw on the video that you put a gas can or something in the back of your truck. Is that right? Did you have different plans when you put that in there?
I don't know what was going through my head. I feel like maybe I could just get rid of myself at the same time if I was doing all this, honestly.
Yeah.
Did you think about that?
What'd you think about that?
I didn't feel like I deserved to live after what had happened.
Was there any thought to the whole family going away that day, to include you?
After everything happened, that's a definite thought.
Yeah. See, it's interesting to me. We had all kind of wondered if there was a point when you were all together and if you were all going to pass together. That to me makes sense, because that's, even though it sounds crazy, that's what a family man does, right?
Family man doesn't do what he did.
No, I know. I guess what I mean is, it seems like you guys were going to be together forever in that way. Is that maybe what was going through your head?
Honestly, I just felt like I didn't deserve to live.
Yeah.
And it was like, whatever judgment I was going to come upon myself, I just didn't deserve to be on this earth anymore.
Mm-hmm.
What happened?
Okay.
So what made you not do that, do you think?
I don't know if it was just more of like because with the site, maybe it was just more of like, I would have hurt more people than just me and everybody else. Like, I know there was other people out there, not like at the site, but other people like maybe out in the area. Like, I didn't want something like on the site to catch fire and blow up, and then other people around would get hurt in the same.
So you were thinking initially about starting a fire out there, or an explosion or something, or?
Just no, not for that. Just like maybe I could just take care of myself and not have that.
How?
Gasoline. That's the only thing you do. I mean, I don't have a gun. I don't have anything like that. It's not like you can just commit suicide that way. But
So
it's
just
like,
to blow yourself up?
I mean, it was just. I wasn't thinking.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't have weapons. I've never hunted before in my life. I don't know what. I mean, nothing was right that morning.
Yeah. I remember you kept telling me that. You kept saying, I didn't know what I was doing, Tammy. I didn't know. Like,
Yeah, when you asked me
I
about the
remember-
sheet, like, what were you doing? Like, I don't know what I was doing.
Yeah. I think you were just like in automatic mode, or it seemed like. So did you drive straight out there? So what were you thinking on the way out there?
It's kind of like what I'm doing right now. I'm just like, nervous, shaking, not knowing, like, what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like, I know, like, my life is completely changed. I don't know, like, what's happening. Like,
honestly, like I try to picture that whole ride, like it's like 45 minutes to an hour ride out there, and it's just like, couldn't I have like saved my girl's life? Couldn't I have done something? Why did I do that? I don't know.
Right.
Like this is my flesh and blood. This is like what I wanted all my life, was to be a dad, just to have, you know, kids, and they love me, they, you know, all that, and it just nothing made sense.
Right.
Like the oil tank, nothing made sense. I'm just like, what the doing?
Mm-hmm. So what happened when you got out there?
I took Shanann out just to a place off to the site,
Mm-hmm.
and then
What were the girls doing when you were doing that?
just sent them back to the truck.
And then what happened after that?
CC was first. She did have a blanket. She had a blue blanket. A Yankee blanket.
So was she alive when she went into the oil tank? No.
I put the blanket over her head.
And that's how she passed. Couldn't breathe.
No. I put the blanket over her head. I didn't want to. No. I strangled her right there in the back seat.
Okay.
What was Bella doing?
She was sitting right beside her.
Did she understand? Did she know what was going on?
She didn't say anything.
And then the same for Bella. Just without a blanket.
With the blanket.
Oh, okay.
I didn't look. It's like every time I closed my eyes, I just hear her saying, "Daddy, no," and that was it.
That's what Bella said.
I hear that every day.
Did you really? Sorry, man.
You know, sorry doesn't really take anything back that I did.
I know. Is it possible that in your mind you didn't want them to suffer throughout their life? Was this like a mercy thing?
I mean, you can say that like after the fact, but it was just like, I don't.
You didn't feel like that during it?
I just didn't. I felt like it was just like an anger with Shanann, with everything, that I was just taking it out on everybody that was in front of me that morning.
Yeah.
I mean, kids growing up without their parents, I mean, depending on what grandparents or whoever they grew up with, seemed to be fine. But it was just like, it was an anger thing. It was just like.
And what were you so angry at Shanann about? Like if you could pinpoint it.
Nothing that makes anybody to want to do this. I mean, you could be angry at your spouse like your whole life, but you should never have done anything like this. You should never let it get to that point. But I let it get to a point where I've never been angry before. Like, and this was like the epitome of being angry.
Yeah.
The epitome of like showing a rage. The epitome of like losing your mind. I mean, even like some people in here said, dude, like, the heck happened? He must have freaking snapped. And like, I just walk away. I'm just like, you know, it's I don't see it in my mind how it could have, like, you know, I look outside every day, I'm like, what could we be doing right now? You know, right now I'd have a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and more than likely a 1-month-old son. And a beautiful wife. And just like, right now it's just me.
I watched that video of you finding out that Shanann was pregnant. Don't seem excited. You seem like kind of in shock.
Scared.
And yeah, like, oh fuck. Like,
Well,
it's
it's-
already complicated and now this.
Well, it's like when we had talked about it like a couple weeks, it happened fast. Like with Bella, it was like we almost gave up trying, and then she bought me like a supercharger for my car. And then with Cece, it was like we had to try, and then finally, but with Nico, it was once or twice, and then like 2 weeks later she's pregnant.
Is that what happened?
Yes. It's just like it was more of like surprise, scared. I'm like, wait, what? Like we just talked about this. Like, people have brought up the fact like, oh, she was probably pregnant before, like you guys even talked about it. I'm just like, it's not, no. But like, it was insanely fast. I give it that. Like, that's the only reason I ever gave that notion, like, even the moment of thought, because it was like faster than any other time that she'd gotten pregnant.
You just didn't seem happy. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I don't remember the video much. I know she was wearing like a "Oops, we did it again" shirt, I think, and I was walking up with my cooler or something. I don't remember like my actual like reaction, like watching the video, but like I could see her probably see like didn't seem like he was jumping for joy type thing.
yeah, it didn't seem like that.
Did you watch the one of when I found out about Cece?
Oh,
No, okay.
is it totally different?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was because Bella was in the crib and it had an eviction notice on the.
Oh, yeah, I
on
think
the
you told
crib.
me about it. Yeah, I never saw it though.
Yeah, I picked up Bella and spun her around and whatnot. This time it was just me and Shanann, and she was in the kitchen. I don't know, like I don't forget what date it was. Maybe like June 3rd or 5th or 7th. I'm not sure like what date it was in the video, but maybe I already felt guilty about talking to Nikki at work.
Yeah.
Maybe that was going through my head.
Is that the potential timing? Does that make sense? Okay.
I don't remember the video, what date the video was, but I knew like I'd kind of met Nikki around like June 1st. I knew like she told me like afterwards.
When you say met her, you mean like went on a date with her?
No, I never went on a date with her until she was in North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
You're just like flirting stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there was natural flirting back and forth, and I was just like, I knew that like with that video timing, I probably just looked like I was like felt guilty for even talking to the girl at work.
Well, you probably did, right?
Yeah.
Did you guys fight before, you and Shanann? I know you talked about like not really raising your voice and stuff. Was there? Because I want to say, didn't a neighbor talk about them fighting and stuff?
Yeah, but that was embellished and exaggerated, and he retracted that.
Oh, he ended
Yeah,
up doing that?
he retracted that. So.
Did you guys ever fight? Did you ever?
No, I mean,
Was there any domestic violence in your house? Like,
No, like we never.
this is strange to us to
Even
have.
from her to you, I mean,
Yeah.
she gets mad when she's pregnant and grabs a knife or
No, like I mean,
scratches you or smacks you around or nothing?
No, she's never like nothing.
Okay.
That's what makes all this even more hard to understand from my standpoint, and from yours too.
Yeah.
Did she ever belittle you at all? Did you ever feel that way, maybe?
Was that?
Did she ever make you feel like she belittled you, or you felt belittled by her?
I mean, there's always points like in a marriage where like the dominant person like takes control of
Sure.
everything, but like I was just my whole life I just kind of went with the flow. Like I never like put myself in the center of attention. I didn't want to be.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to be in the back row.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, if she did belittle me, I couldn't pick an exact point or time.
So you never really felt that way, right?
No, I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, I always knew I was like, the introvert, and she was
Right.
she took control of most situations. Like when people came over, like I knew what my role was.
Yeah.
Like I watch videos of like cooking, or she'd make like power balls or or like protein balls or whatever.
Yeah.
You just don't seem like you want to be in those videos.
No.
Like I feel like you were being forced to be in those videos. And correct me if I'm wrong, but
Yeah,
that's what it seemed like to me.
I hated being in videos. I mean, I did it for her because
Right.
it was for her business and
Sure.
stuff. But like it was,
I hated just being out
Yeah.
for everybody to see. That's why like the whole like the gender reveal thing, I was just like, I didn't want it to be like some live Facebook video. I'm just like, no.
Yeah.
But like I never wanted to be out there.
Yeah.
I know, I'm like,
Well, even when she was, because we talk about this a lot, Tammy and I and Dave, even when it was, I think it was Florida on some Lavelle or Thrive thing, and she's like, here we are, and it's all expenses paid, and
I was like,
I remember looking at you and
Republic.
thinking, like, he is not into this video right now.
No, you don't look into any of the videos, I'll be honest with you.
I wouldn't be either.
Yeah.
That's not me.
Yeah,
I get
I'm,
it.
I'm
I mean,
not-
I remember you talking about, like, she would even post stuff for you. Like,
Oh, yeah.
because you're technically a salesman, too, of
Yeah, I was-
Lavelle, of
yeah,
Thrive.
that's 'cause, like she put me underneath her, and that like anything, like any of my friends or stuff, like anything I do would help her.
Right.
So it was just, I would send her pictures. Like I should I take a picture with your patch? I'm like, okay, send it to her, and then she'd make a post about it. She was like, oh, you need to take more control over like your business and stuff. I'm just like, I don't know what to talk about.
Right.
Like if I wanted to talk to somebody at the mall or at the pool or somebody about this, I'd just stumble all over my words and just like, they'd be like, okay, bye. But no,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not a salesman. Jesus, I mean, she could sell everything you're wearing back to you.
Right.
And you wouldn't even know it. Like, wait, I just paid $40
Right.
for this shirt, I paid $20 for it? Yeah, those videos were not me. I did it just to support her. Like, she would always say, oh,
Could you tell her no? Could you say, I don't want to be in that video? Or was that an option?
Probably not an option. I mean, it's like, she would have been like, oh, why, this is to, help our family. This is for, to help this and that, so I couldn't have told her no. I mean, it would have made her mad. I would have been like, no. I wouldn't want to start that just because it's for the business, it's for the family, I was just going to try to help out wherever we can.
Right.
Did that actually make money?
Mm-hmm.
So not only just more sales, but it actually put money in your guys' pocket?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And she made probably in that last year, probably as much as I did.
On commissions, basically? I mean, I know that's a simplified version of it, but...
Yep. I mean, it's they don't take taxes out on it, so.
Right.
So that was like the good thing, and they paid for your car.
Mm-hmm.
So
Did they give you an allowance or something to buy a car?
yeah, well, if
Or lease it?
if you're a certain level, like a 12K or above, they give you a car allowance once a month. I'm not sure how they made money. The owners doing that, but they did.
Yeah.
Unless there's just like an insane markup on the product, which I probably guess there is.
Probably is, yeah.
I'm not sure how much it costs for them to make it.
Yeah.
Did you feel like a different person wearing those patches?
Especially like the Duo, the Burn. I mean, it felt. I mean, like the Apple Watches. Like if you look on it, like when it tells you you're exercising, it says I was exercising like all day because my heart rate was like up
Oh.
just from those patches.
Was it full of caffeine or what?
They just have something. They had something in them. I mean, I had the black label ones, the longer black ones. Those had caffeine in them, but it never had that effect. I mean, the Duo Burn ones, the ones that are more of like the fat loss type. It felt like I was working out all day, even though I wasn't.
Oh, were you tired?
I mean, I know at some points, even Nikki said that, like, I'd fall asleep on the couch, on her couch, while I was talking to her, and then, like, pick back up like I never knew I fell asleep, which I don't know if it was, like, an insomnia thing or what, but, like, I wasn't sleeping much.
You had a lot going on then.
Yeah, but that was the only patches I really felt like a real big difference on, just because it felt like I was working out all day.
Mm-hmm. You don't feel like they changed your personality or anything like that, though? Or do you?
I don't really know. I know I just felt different on those than any other patch. It felt like I could just go longer and longer each day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure like if that was probably a bad thing, because I don't think I was probably sleeping more than 3 hours a night.
So would you when Shanann was gone, would you stay with Nikki and then go home for to get ready for work?
Yeah, I just wake up at like 4:30 and
go home and get ready for work and leave. And I just work out when I got back home.
Mm-hmm.
What were the conversations with Nikki as far as at some point you guys were talking about her helping you find an apartment? So what did you guys talk about as far as your future together?
That didn't really happen until like I got back from the beach. So I told her like I lied to her like, hey, like I had talked to Shanann about getting a separation.
And that talk hadn't happened yet.
No, I mean it kind of like not. I mean, she knew something was going on at the beach. I mean, we weren't sleeping in the same room, and then she even mentioned the fact like, hey, Colorado's 50-50 state or something like that. And I was like, okay, well, I guess she looked it up. But that actual talk hadn't like actually happened. I was just like, I thought it was going to happen.
Yeah. And so in conversations with Nikki, and I get it. I mean, you're telling her like the progress toward the divorce is a little bit more than it was.
Mm-hmm.
And then so what were you guys planning?
So it was more of like she was going to help me find an apartment that was affordable. That's kind of just around like Brighton or maybe just close to work, like Fort Lupton or something around there. That's kind of like where my area was.
Mm-hmm.
Did you talk about moving in with her?
She didn't want that.
She didn't want that. Would you
No.
have done that if she would have been cool with that?
I've been a little too soon, I would have thought. Because it was just, we'd only been really seeing each other like almost like a month or maybe just talking about 2 months. That would have been really... But she called her house, like her apartment, like her, I don't know, like her, kind of like a shield or kind of like her, she had another word for it, but...
Like her safe place?
Yeah, like a safe place or something like that. And she didn't like, people like to invade it, but that's why she always let me come over, because she said she felt like that was fine, like her dog liked me and everything. Like she would say, hey, you just should belong here type thing. I'm like, oh, okay.
So you and Shanann, did you talk about selling the house? Or what point did you? There was some discussion there with Ann Meadows.
Yeah, she had sent an email to Ann about like how we would go about like selling the house.
Yeah.
And I think Ann told her about Ann was always about getting pre-approved. Just like like if you're going to sell your house, get pre-approved for like another house, so it's like much faster.
Yeah, so you can just quickly transition from one to the other. Okay. When did that happen? Remember?
I think it was either right before we left. No, that had to have been like first week of August, somewhere around there. I think she may have contacted her.
Okay. So the plan was maybe to buy a house. I think you told me in Brighton. You think about buying a house in Brighton.
Yeah, just like she liked that Adams 12 school system or something.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I think that's what Brighton is. Adams County. So.
Yeah.
What were you thinking about when you called the school that day, on Monday?
I was freaking out. I didn't know, like I was thinking in my head, like what I just did, what I just done, and I didn't know, like it was stupid to do anything. Just, to call the school, to call Ann, to call anybody. They were right to be, suspicious about anything. Like, 'cause I knew I probably sounded eccentric on the phone and out of sorts, and just I don't even know what they were thinking. They heard me.
I think they thought I was weird, but I don't know how you would not sound weird, like you said, so.
So are you 100% sure the girls were still around and alive when you drove out? Okay. So that's completely accurate. There's nothing else about that.
They got in the truck.
Okay.
Where did the blanket go?
It's probably in the trash can or something, I think.
In the trash?
It wasn't it was still in my truck.
Okay. We thought we saw some GPS where you had stopped by near a construction roll-off dumpster. Is that true, or?
I think that's I dumped my clothes in there.
So that would have been on the way back to the house Yeah.
in my neighborhood.
Yeah. When Officer Coonrod was there? Okay. Was it one of those red construction dumpsters?
More than likely.
Okay.
Did you pack new clothes? How did that work?
I already have some in there because, like, in case we have like a spill or something.
Oh.
Yeah.
If you ever get crude oil on you, you don't. Yeah, I have like 2 pairs of boots, all kinds of different stuff in there, just because like this one time I had to clean up a spill and I had defrost on, and I had like a headache for like 2 weeks because like the crude oil that comes, it's that. So I always have something in there.
So where did you keep them after you took them off? Like, did you just change out there into your new other clothes?
So like I dumped my clothes in that dumpster.
But that wasn't that on the way back? When you were coming? Like, you'd already worked the whole day,
Yeah.
right?
I'd work
No.
I'd work like till like 11 or so.
11.
Yeah. So that was back when Nicole Atkinson.
Yeah, when she was
Yeah, when she
at my
called.
house hitting the doorbell, that's when I
Right.
knew someone was at the house.
Right.
Did you think right then, like, oh fuck, like, here we go? Or what were you thinking then?
I didn't even know why she was there. I was like, I didn't know, like, maybe she had an appointment or something with Shanann. I didn't know.
What did you think, like, that day, like, what you were going to say? Like, what was your plan? Were you just going to go home and be like, report to the police that your family's gone? Or
I had, like, once, like, I had no idea what was going to happen. Like, after everything, I mean, I don't even know how I was even acting even normal to people that I was around. Because when, like, Troy and Cody and Chad and Melissa and all them, like, you know, when they showed up on the site, I don't even know how I was even being somewhat even coherent what I was saying, but apparently they understood me. So I didn't know what was going to happen. Like I said, this wasn't like something like some Criminal Minds type.
like, well
thing.
thought out?
Yeah, it wasn't nothing like
You're
that.
just minute by minute at that point.
Yeah, it was. I had no idea what was going to happen.
So once the girls were gone, was it also just a minute by minute thing as far as the oil tanks?
Yeah, I didn't know what to do. I mean, just thinking about an oil tank just makes me want to throw up.
And was that just because it was in front of you and there it was and it just presented itself? It wasn't a plan beforehand? Okay. Was there any reason why the separate ones?
No, it's like you said, it was like going up the stairs, and it just didn't. No, like what Frank said is like I was trying to separate everybody. That's not.
No.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't want to separate anybody.
What was the reason?
I can't even tell you. It was like I said, like something else was in control of what I was doing, and it was like I was doing something I never thought I would ever do in my life.
Did you think there would be less chance of someone finding them if they were in separate tanks? Or
I don't know.
Sounds like it was over there.
oh,
No, I didn't. Whatever my reasoning was in my head that day, it wasn't sound. Nothing was right.
And you don't even remember thinking about it?
No, it was just like it was like a reaction of something that I wasn't even thinking about.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the trash bags? Do you remember that?
Oh,
There were two.
okay, yes. Trying to, because like she kept, I didn't want to, like when I was putting, there's one coherent, I guess, thing I had, like I didn't want the girls looking at Shanann while they were in the back seat.
so what'd you do?
I put a trash bag on one end and on her feet and on her head so they didn't have to see.
Okay. And they were just too little to kind of figure out, right?
Yeah, they didn't know this one.
Okay. That's good.
I just know, like, when I was driving up there, I mean, you know, they were just, you know, sitting there just, you know, kind of asleep or kind of just, like, you know, holding on to each other, laying in each other's laps. You know, I didn't,
Do you remember having any thoughts or thinking about why not just putting them all together with Shanann?
honestly, it was just happening so fast. I had no time to really have a thought that was my own.
Okay.
But I wasn't like dutifully trying to separate anybody
Yeah.
passing away, trying to keep anybody separate. And everything, you know, Sandy and Frankie said, you know, like I don't hold it against them. I mean, they can hate me for, they have a right to hate me for the rest of their lives.
They don't hate
They
you.
don't. In fact, while we're on the subject, I speak with them weekly, and I told them that we were going to come here and then hopefully would speak with us. And they told me to tell you, understandably, they're devastated. But they actually said that they love you. They still love you. And Sandy explained it. You know, he's our son-in-law for 8 years. I can't just turn that off. So they don't hate you. They don't.
That's amazing to hear that.
Yeah. Well, and I can tell you, Sandy was the one that was most resistant to penalties in this case. And she said that. She told me that from the very beginning. That she didn't want that. It's God's decision. It's not her decision. And then she told me that even then. So it's not just a one-time thing that she has said it to me. It's been over the whole course of the event. So that's probably one of the most honest things someone's ever told me. You know, so it's pretty amazing. You know, faith is. She's obviously a believer. So am I. I get it. So I understand it. You know, so.
That's amazing to even hear that.
Yeah. Good people.
I would have figured they would have hated me for.
They don't. I mean, yeah, anybody would think that. I certainly would have, but I have to admit I was surprised, really taken aback by that. But they certainly don't.
What did they say when they knew you were coming out here?
They said they want to know, details because they need closure, and that's really all they want, and they want to keep it private. And I said, well, absolutely. We'll talk to them about what you told us, and just so they can put it past them, because they're having a hard time dealing with it and trying to get past it all. And I think that may help, just to know.
Closures, I mean, my parents still think, like, I told them I pled guilty for a reason.
Right.
And, like, I told it to them when they had that video phone thing in Colorado the day before, like, I pled guilty. Like, I plead guilty for a reason. Like, I didn't just, I knew other people were watching. So I didn't just go in and, like, just say anything. But, like, they seemed to take it. Like, okay. And
What made you do that, Chris? What made you plead guilty?
I didn't want anybody else I didn't want them to go through this for 2 or 4 years. I didn't want my attorneys to lie for me for 2 to 4 years. Like, they would have done anything I told them to do.
Sure.
That's what I don't see how they can do that. And, like, that's what attorneys do. Like, they take their defendant and they say, hey, like, what happened? Okay, we'll go with that story. Like, I told them everything I just told you guys. And it's just like, they got together, like, well, if they ever offered a plea deal, would you ever want to, like, just plead guilty to them? Like, yeah, I mean, if we can end this, end it. Like, I was, like, in September, I told them that.
Really?
Yeah, but, it was way too early, and prosecution was still doing their investigating, still grabbing evidence and all kinds of stuff, and that wasn't even really on the table. So I think it was like around Halloween. I think that's when the prosecution went to Frank and Sandy and Frankie's house, and it's talking like, if we can end this, would you be open to that? And that's when, like, like the whole death penalty and everything, all that conversation happened. And I guess they were surprised that it would just be over.
Yeah.
And
We were all in shock, I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, that was like,
It's like we were going 100 miles an hour and then we just hit a brick wall. Like, that's what it felt like to all of us. So, I mean, obviously you had more time to
yeah, I mean,
contemplate it than
yeah,
us.
I told John and Kate and Sophia and everybody, Amy, hey, if we can just stop this, and, like, I know it's, everybody's telling me to fight this, there's no, like, there's like, they're about saying there's like not enough evidence to such and this and that. And I'm just like, no, this needs to end. Like, I don't want people to have to, because for Frank and everybody to have to fly back to Colorado every single time and get reminded of this, like, I'm not sure, it's never going to go away, but to actually have to come and talk about it, have other people talk about it, have, you know, all three of you get on the witness stand and say, you know, what they saw, what they've seen, you know, what they heard on tapes and everything like that. It's just like, I don't want people to relive that over and over and over again for years. Like, if I could just end this for everybody, and then, like, if there's any closure at all, they could, you know, they could start then instead of like in 2022.
Right.
You know, like, you know, and everything just like, 'cause I know it'd only get worse for everybody.
So did it have anything to do with you not having the death penalty?
No, like, I mean, honestly, like, when I was sitting in that cell, I felt like I should have died. I mean, I was listening to everybody telling me, like, hey, if you do this and this, you can hang yourself in that cell. You could do this and that.
They were like telling you stuff.
Yeah, you could drown yourself in the toilet if you wanted to fill your toilet bowl up or something like that. It was, they'd been there a bunch of times. And, like, you know, at one point I was listening to them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was just like, you know, I just felt like maybe there's a different purpose for me somewhere. You know, maybe it's here. I don't know. Like, I prayed to God every day that He would move me away from Colorado, like, move me away from, like, the DOC there, because I just knew, like, 'cause they were saying there was a hit on me. They said if I was going to a DOC in Colorado, like, I'd last a week and I'd be dead. Because of, like, the gangs and all that kind of stuff. So, like, I just felt like God moved me here for a reason, and I'll, you know, hopefully I can help people that way. But, like, I didn't want my family, I didn't want Shanann's family, all of our friends, like, you know, having to go through that, because after a while, I knew it was like, this stuff was everywhere. And I knew, like, all her Thrive friends, everybody, that was just like, it would just broke, just put that hole in their heart just a little bit bigger every time. I didn't want that. I knew it would have gotten worse. I didn't want it to get any worse than it already was.
Did you ever think about, well, you know, it could be very believable, what I told him, it could be very believable that Shanann did, you know, end the girls. And so maybe if I tried to convince people that, maybe if I fought with my attorneys on that, maybe I could lessen it somehow. Did you ever think about that?
Honestly, I never even thought about the story until you guys mentioned it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wondered.
I never even thought about it until you guys mentioned it.
So what did you think about it once it got mentioned?
It's just like I just went with it. I didn't, like, you know, I knew my dad was out there. I knew it was like, you know, I knew they would probably believe it because, you know, my mom and my sister just never really liked Shanann. And I knew that, like, you know, I mean, through all this, like, I got letters from some of my friends that even said, you know, when we went over to your house, we could see, you know, Shanann was more of a dominant personality and more of like, you know, you're always helping with the kids and everything. Just, you know, you're a great dad and everything. We could see, you know, a couple things that I never saw or, you know, whatnot. And even my best friend Mark even said, you know, there was always, you know, something, you know, I didn't really get with Shanann. I was like, nobody ever told me any of this stuff, but okay. But yeah, it was, I never thought about that story. And, you know, that's what my attorneys were going with.
Yeah.
And then, like, I think it was probably the second week I told them, like, what had really happened.
What did they say after that?
They were quiet. They were writing it down. They were, they said they wouldn't judge me, so I told them. I told them everything that happened. And they, you know, appreciated, like, I guess, you know, most of the time, you know, their defendant or their, you know, defense don't, like, tell them actually what happened.
No. Yeah.
They just, you know, tell them, all right, get me out of here. This is what happened. But I told them what happened. I didn't want them going, if this was going to go, like, anywhere in courts, I didn't want them to be under a false pretense and, like, get surprised. So I know, like, there was probably things that you guys probably knew that maybe if I lied to them and just tell them, no, this is what happened, that it would have, like, made them look, you know, foolish and
stupid and just like, unprepared, and I'm just like, this is what happened. And they, they appreciated me telling them that, so now they would be prepared. And that's when they were saying, like, if it was ever, if we ever went to them, the prosecution, and say, hey, if we could end this, would I be open to it? I'm like, if it could end, send it.
I know there was like, wasn't her phone found on the couch or between the couch cushions? Like, did you plant all that
I
stuff?
just threw it in there.
You just threw it in
Yeah,
there?
I was-
Why did you do that?
I don't know what was going on that morning. Like, even like, her watch, her phone, like, if I was actually, like, if I'd planned this, I would probably just take it out to the field or something, But,
What about her ring and stuff? What were you thinking about that?
It's like, maybe she actually really wanted a divorce. Maybe she didn't want to fix it. Just put it there on the counter.
She took it off? Or did you take it off?
I took it off.
Okay. Oh, so that would look like she was saying, I want a divorce, I'm leaving it here when I'm taken off. I see.
So the phone and her watch and the couch, was that morning before you left to go to service? Okay.
Yeah, 'cause I think Nicole's son found it or something.
Yeah.
What other things did you do that maybe we even missed?
Tried the phone and the watch. I think I threw the therapy book she wanted me to read in the trash.
That was that morning?
I think so.
Were you trying to make it look like she threw it in the trash?
I don't know. I just like
Oh.
I just didn't think nothing was ever going to work again. So I didn't know what was going on.
Did you go down to the basement? I thought the basement door opened.
Yeah, the door is open, but yeah. So there was a lot of movement, I think it was around 4:26 or something. And the garage door opening, the basement door opening, and then of course the living room sensors and all. Do you remember what you were doing all during that time? Other than
You had a
going
lot of
in and out
steps.
the garage.
I'll just say that.
Okay. So like the basement, I'm not sure. I mean, the only thing I really have down there is my workout, the bench press and whatnot.
Do you remember going down there for anything or opening that door for anything? Did you think about, well, maybe I'll take her out that way, or is it a walkout basement?
No.
I wasn't at your house. Okay.
No, it's like a garden level basement. So
Okay.
But no, I don't remember really. I don't think I worked out that morning.
Like, were you packing your lunch in the kitchen? Like, did you
Oh,
have to
yeah.
do all that normal
Yeah.
stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I packed the lunch and everything. Did all that. But I don't remember about the basement. Unless I just worked out that morning, I just don't remember. I don't think I did.
So one of the more,
Unless there was a trash bag down there at that time. I don't know.
Yeah, you got trash bags from there.
Maybe there wasn't any in the garage, and I went down there and got one.
Do you normally carry a roll of trash bags in your truck?
No.
So there was a roll in your truck.
There was?
Yeah.
Maybe I just grabbed it and brought it with me then.
That would have been kept in the basement, maybe? Or
Basement or the garage.
or the garage. I'm sorry, what were you saying, Graham?
one of the more kind of poignant or tender moments in all of this was seeing you with your dad when he came in. What was it like when you picked him up at the airport?
It was very strange. It was kind of like I almost knew this was probably the last time I'd ever see him on the outside. In my head, I knew that.
Yeah. What'd you guys talk about?
Honestly, like, he just wanted to talk about sports. He just like, he's always kind of like, distance himself from like a problem type thing. Like, when, like, if there was ever an issue or anything like that, he always want to talk about, like, just bring up, like, when I would try to get him to quit smoking, like, all the time. Like, that's after, like, I graduated high school and whatnot. He would,
Are you talking about cigarettes?
yeah.
Okay.
And he would always like just change stuff. He'd be like, oh, you know what happened in the race? Football, just something. I mean, he just never wanted, like, he said, okay, oh, yeah, I'll get to it, and then just boom, something else. And I just kind of felt like it was kind of like that. Like he asked like a few questions, like, do you know where they're at, and do you think
think you know where they're at or anything like that. I just, tell them no. And then like start talking about, just want to talk about sports and just like normal things. And just kind of, I'm not sure if he maybe knew anything, maybe he kind of figured out something maybe happened, just wanted to talk to me as his son.
Is it possible he saw that you were in a stressful situation and wanted to do what he always did, make
Yeah.
things comfortable?
I think that was a good way to put it.
I bet you picked up a lot of that from him.
Yeah, because stressful situations, like the gray hair didn't show it, but like I try not to be in stress. But it's like I worked on cars. There was a lot of stress because it's always it's on commission. You get paid what you do, not by showing up. So and then Anadarko was a little less stressful because I got paid just to be there. But,
Was your dad's marriage like yours and Shanann's marriage, as far as like your dad was the more passive one and your mom was the
yeah,
more
my mom
dominant?
was always the more aggressive one.
Was she like Shanann in a way? I mean, were you attracted to Shanann because she was kind of like how your mom and dad's relationship was, or?
It was like, it almost mirrored like her mom and dad's relationship, honestly, because her dad's like my dad. Because they're both like kind of calm and cool, just like
I
that.
could see that, yeah.
And her mom is very,
Sandy rules that roost.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, very. And it's just like, I kind of related it to that.
Mhm.
It's like, her mom always said like, she always told Shanann that she would marry somebody that was kind of like her dad. I felt like I was kind of like her dad.
Mhm.
I wasn't like, I couldn't build a lot of things he could, but, our personalities were kind of like, I was always, I think he really liked me the first time he met me because, like, I was helping Shanann with this, she had got this car from the dealership that she worked at, and she was driving around and felt like, the wheel was about to fall off. And I pulled over where her dad was, and I got underneath it, jacked it up, and I was like, trying to fix everything. He's saying like any other guy she'd ever dated would have just like stood by and watched me do it. And so I think that's when he really like kind of liked me.
Took to you.
It was just like I was always wanting to help people, not to hurt anybody.
Well, and you helped her all through her lupus, and you're at the colonoscopy, and you're jacking up the car. And
Yeah, anytime she had an issue with like a car at the Dirty South Customs, and like I would just go out to work, see what I could do with it. I would just do whatever I could to help.
yeah. Well, and I think one of the reasons Frank and Sandy work so well is because Frank let Sandy be Sandy.
Yeah.
And they probably both saw in you that you let Shanann be Shanann.
Yeah, I just like I didn't try to change her.
Right.
Like I just let her be who she is.
Yeah.
She's like she's gung ho. She's she knows what she wants. She's gonna go get it.
Yeah.
And I didn't say, hey, you can't do that. And that's what her first husband did.
Yeah.
He controlled everything. He tried to be Sandy, and it didn't work. And she turned into almost like me. She was like, she just kind of like played back and just kind of like let him do what he was doing. And I think she learned after that she could just be herself. And then with me, she could definitely be herself.
Yeah.
So that's how it worked.
So do you think your dad had any inkling? Because I'm trying to remember the timing. He showed up when you were still walking around. You weren't in any trouble yet when Ronnie came in.
Yeah, I had met with Dude the night before for like 3 or 4 hours. And then I was at Nick and Amanda's house.
Okay.
And I was there, and that's when I went to go pick him up.
Okay. And you picked him up. It was early that morning, right?
He was like 10:30, I think, when his flight came in.
Okay. And then so from there, you guys probably drove home and then to the police station.
Yep.
And the talks there were no type of confession from you. Okay.
No, it was like he was just gonna wait.
Okay.
I told him like if you're hungry, there's like that barbecue joint down the street,
Yeah.
and like it's good. And just, he told me he never left.
He didn't. I wasn't lying.
Yeah.
He was faithful. He was.
Yeah, I don't know how he lasted that long without food.
We ended up giving him food.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He was great. And the reason I ask is because when I look back and watch the video, now knowing what I know after talking to you today, I can see how genuine he was. But I just didn't know if you guys had come up with some sort of plan. Okay.
No, we never talked about anything
Okay.
like that. I don't, if I had told him anything, he would have probably just told me, just tell them right away.
I think you're right.
Like, he would have still loved me either way, but he would have told me, you need to tell him,
Yeah.
like right now.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need, I mean, I didn't think I was going to be there for 14 or however long it was, like 10 hours, however long I was there that day.
You were there a long time.
Yeah, but it was, he would have told me just to say, just to tell you.
Yeah.
Did you know walking in there that you were going to tell us? Or did you think,
I didn't, I mean, I knew there was a reason you brought me back in. I know, well, for the,
what'd you think about the polygraph?
that was horrible.
Why did you say
I
that?
don't know how you do that.
Why did you say that?
Because Tammy's a torturer.
I'm not.
No, like, I mean,
Tell me.
you answered, you asked me questions for like 3 or 4 hours beforehand, and then you do the polygraph, and it's like you just break down somebody's brain to where like,
Too
it's like
much or
too
what?
much. Jello, and it's just like, I know it's you guys have a job and you have a plan, and that's you executed it.
She's thorough, right? There's just
No.
there's
Yeah.
no way to get out of there without the truth.
No, I mean, I kind of knew like because right when you asked me about like Saturday night, when I told you about the walking in, I was like, man, she was like going through her head. I was like, fucking lie.
Well, we did know, we found out about Nikki right before the polygraph.
I figured that out after with meeting with John and everybody that
Yeah.
she had met with somebody from the CBI,
Mhm.
like on the 14th or the 15th. I was just like, wait, they were talking. Oh, okay. So you already knew. So, but
I mean, I didn't know how extensive it was, but yes, we knew.
yeah, I mean, walking in there that day, just walking into that room, I knew I wasn't walking out.
Yeah,
Just the feeling I had walking in that room.
yeah.
Just seeing all, I mean, I don't remember if the polygraph stuff was already in there. I think it was.
It was, yeah.
But it was, I knew I
I just feel like sometimes when people, do the bad thing and they stay, like, some part of me thinks, well, I think they're here because they really want to tell us what happened. Because it's not normal that you want to keep all that in. Like, that just kills people on the inside. And I could tell it was killing you that day.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like that. The 13th when I slept in the house, it didn't nothing. I don't think I slept maybe like 2 hours because I just finally just got so tired I just fell asleep. I had every light on. Nothing felt right.
What were you thinking about during your media interviews?
I didn't want to do it.
Why did you do it? Did you feel like you had to do it?
I felt like, they would have just kept knocking on my door until I answered it. And like, I didn't even set it up, but Nicole Atkinson had set it up. She told me, hey, Fox
Is
is
she
going
the one who set it up?
She said Fox is going to be at your house at 10:30. I'm like, what? Like, okay. And I think I even called you about it. Like, what do you recommend that I do? And he's like, it's kind of up to you. I'm like, okay. And I called one of her friends. What should I do? And she said I probably wouldn't do it, but I just felt like I don't even want to know what I said, what I looked like on there, because I knew it. Some people said it just made it look even worse after the fact, but
It didn't look good. I mean, obviously we can't say, oh, we knew right then he was lying, but I think we all watched it together and went, this might be bad.
yeah, I mean,
I had that feeling after I watched it. So I could kind of see it in your face.
it's like I was just lying to more and more people, and it's just like
Do you have internet access here?
no.
Say don't get into that trap that everybody's in. Just watching
What
all
trap?
that.
Oh.
The social media trap and all that.
No, they
It's
don't.
ridiculous.
They don't let you have social media here. Like, I think some of the GP guys are getting like these little like tablets or something that are like the size of like a older iPhone or something.
Mm.
But I think they can use like email. But I'm not sure about like social media. No, definitely no social media. But like, I'm not sure about internet or not. But this place is kind of like a dead zone pie for phones, anyways. I would think.
I don't know, we're getting service, which is weird.
Yeah.
I didn't think we would.
At least right here.
Yeah, right in this room.
Maybe this is kind of like a hub of
Yeah.
computers.
Yeah, that's
This
true.
is the spot.
Yeah, computer room. You would hope that it had some.
Did you talk to Nikki afterwards? After all this happened?
on the 13th and the 14th.
What was that conversation like?
It was the 13th. It was kind of like, you know, it was more text and then maybe a phone call, like a phone call. And then she thought maybe Shanann like took off with the kids. Like just, you know, because I was telling her I didn't know where they were and all that. And then the 14th, she kind of like, I think she kind of thought something may have happened because they hadn't come back.
Why do you say that she might have thought that?
Her, you know, she kept asking me like some weird questions. Like she kept asking like questions that only I would know, but she was testing to see if like it was actually me on the phone. Like
What do you mean?
Like she would ask like, you know, like what's my dog's name, or like what do I like, what yoga studio do I go to, or something like that. And just like, like I just answer her like and then like another thing about I'm not sure if this is you. I'm just like, okay.
Is this through text or is this through calls?
Text.
Oh, okay. So she wasn't hearing your voice. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it possible she thought you'd been arrested and we were on the phone?
One, either Shanann had my phone or somebody else had my phone, or
Right.
like maybe, you know, maybe she thought it was.
Well, hopefully Shanann would know all the answers to those questions, right?
No. This is Nikki asking me.
Yeah, but
Okay.
if she's asking you your name of your dog and what yoga studio, and
Yeah.
like, wouldn't
Well,
Shanann know that?
maybe she thought, you know, maybe I was with Shanann. That she was just trying to find out who she was.
Mm.
But yeah, like some of the conversation, like on the 14th, got a little weird. I think that's when she met with CBI or something, or FBI. I'm not sure who she met with first.
So she talked to you after she met with?
No.
Oh, she
That
did.
was like she had told me like, this is the last time you'll probably hear from me. I'm going to stay at my friend Jim's place while this is all going on. She said not to contact her until this is done. She told me to delete everything. I didn't delete everything. I just okay. I'm not sure why I didn't delete everything, but probably helped you guys out a little bit. But
She told you to delete everything?
delete all conversations.
Did she
All
tell you why?
correspondence. She just said delete it. Which I don't think you can ever delete a text message.
We're pretty good at getting deleted text messages.
Did when your dad came in, one of the first things you guys talked about, he said, you know, kind of quietly, I cheated on her, I cheated on Shanann or something. Your dad didn't know until that time?
No, they had, when I was in North Carolina on August 6th, when I spent most of the day with my parents and my sister and everybody, you know, they had, I had told them like something like, you know, this, I don't think this is going to work, like, with what happened with the nuts and everything, and they're not being able to see the kids, they're like, you know, this is the first time they had talked to me, and pretty much.
Oh, because you went 3 weeks or something, right?
Yeah, because Shanann told me to call him while I was at the beach just to smooth everything out, because she was like, all right, whatever's going on in your head, you need to fix this. But she didn't want the kids to see him, she didn't want to see him. And then like when I did see him on August 6th, it was after I went and saw my grandmother. She's in a nursing home. And she still wouldn't go see my parents or anybody with the kids. So I just told her to leave me there, and my dad come pick me up, and you know, spent the whole day there. And I just they were, you know, they said they want to see the kids. They just don't know if they could ever like, you know, just forgive Shanann for everything that happened that day. I guess, I mean, I'm not sure like everything that was said that day when they had that argument, but apparently it was like a knockdown, drag out, like bomb that went off in there.
Pretty hurtful things.
Yeah, I'm guessing so. And you know, they just don't know like if they could ever forgive her or not. And I just like I never told them about like, you know, cheating on her. Like they even asked me, is there somebody else?
Oh, did they really?
Yeah.
So they could kind of sense maybe something's going on.
Yeah, because Nikki was texting me the entire time I was over there.
Oh.
So like, they could kind of see like I was texting somebody, but it was like maybe they kind of knew. Like even like when I was in San Diego talking to my friend Mark, I told him about Nikki, but I didn't tell him like I was gonna meet up with her.
Okay.
I told him that, you know, I was trying to like, I should have just told him right then. Maybe that would have helped me. I know maybe he had an instance where there was some girl coming after him, and she was engaged, and he ended up getting with her, and then they were together, and then she cheated on him.
Is this before he was married or during?
It was after.
Okay.
But like he could have, helped me, but I just, I never told him the whole thing. That, it was a lot further along than I wanted it to be.
That's interesting to think about, right? Because your dad could have given you some good advice.
Yeah, everybody. Now this is my friend Mark.
Oh,
Not my
I'm
dad.
sorry. Okay.
Yeah. When I was in San Diego.
Oh, I gotcha.
So you think you told Mark about that and hoping that he maybe questioned you about it, or?
Well, I was, because Mark, my best friend. I grew up with him since I was like 8, 9 years old.
Yeah.
So like, he had been married before, and it didn't work out. I guess they were stationed together or something, like over in Korea. And I should have just kind of just came out with like the whole story, like I just told him there was this girl at work that I've been talking to, but I'm just distancing myself from her.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the case. I was just letting it exponentially get worse.
Right.
And if I had told him like, hey,
Yeah.
he would have been like, whoa, man, like, all right, take a step back and look,
Yeah. Right.
and like don't like fall into that trap, being you're gonna be alone for 5 weeks. And there's times I wish, like maybe Shanann didn't have to go away for 5 weeks. Maybe we all just went for 1 week.
Yeah.
Nothing would have ever happened. It's 5 weeks alone, that's the only reason really that was almost even allowed to happen.
There are quite a few people who would tell us, and who do tell us, you need to look into Nikki more, Nikki Kissinger. All the way from the extreme end of things being Nikki's the one who ordered the hit.
She was there. I'm in the basement.
She was there. So the extreme is she's the one who told Chris to do it. She's the real problem. All the way, that's the extreme side, and then all the way to, well, there were these texts where she was infatuated, she was in love, she was saying how good Chris was in the sack, and maybe we should look at her more. What would you say to those people?
She had her moments where I had to talk her like off a ledge kind of deal.
What does that mean?
It's like, I guess after the fact, there was like videos of her that she was like recording herself because she was like bipolar or something. I never do that. But it's like, and she would get worked up about nothing. She would just like, she came to my house once because I think it was like July 4th. I didn't have to work that day, so I didn't like get up at like 4 o'clock and go home.
Mm-hmm.
And Shanann had called me like 10 times in a row, and I didn't hear it because I was sleeping. And I was just like, and she was pissed. Shanann was pissed. And like I called her outside, like, where are you at? Like, what? Like, I was like, I didn't have to work today. It's like you called me at like 5:30. It's like, well, kids want to talk to you at 7:30. I'm like I was sleeping. She's like, she just like, screw you, like I don't know where you're at. And I went back inside. Something like, I gotta go. And she was just like, okay, are you coming back? I'm like, probably not.
So wait a minute, you kind of lost me there. Were you at Nikki's place when
Yeah.
Shanann called you?
Yeah.
Okay, and so you were sleeping in her bed.
Yeah, because I wasn't going to work that day because
I
I
gotcha.
didn't have to that day. It was
Okay.
the first holiday I ever had off. And, Shanann was pissed, and, it kind of pissed Nikki off too that I left. But I think that's when I called Nikki later, and she was like, she kind of realized that, she'd always be like, the second, she said second fiddle.
Sure.
And because that's how I probably would come back that day. Just, I don't want to be anywhere else when Shanann calls. She was already pissed. So it was stuff like that where she would she would go. She said she would go on like websites and look at like, will a relationship work with somebody? Like, will a mistress work? Will a mistress turn into a relationship?
That's what Nikki was looking at?
Yeah.
She would tell you that, or you
She
heard
told
that?
me that.
Okay.
Yeah, she said that she would go on websites and look at stuff like that. I was like, why do you even look at stuff like that? She's like, I just want to see what other people have experienced.
But so that confuses me though, because I thought earlier you were saying she thought you were heading toward a divorce. So why was she looking at herself as a mistress?
This was later on.
Oh.
Like,
okay.
In August, like
Okay.
the first week of August, when I told her, like, I had to have that talk with her about separation.
Uh-huh.
That's when, like, she started looking at, like, apartments and stuff. But, like, during our July relationship type thing there,
Oh, I see.
that's when she was looking up, like, will it actually work?
Okay.
She told her friend Brittany about it, I guess, and Brittany told her not to do it, but she said she already made her decision.
Okay. And so, are those people absolutely wrong about Nikki? She wasn't asking you to get rid of your family?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay. And no part of any of this was because she put it in your head or asked you to, or?
No, she never, I mean, this whole relationship contributed to it.
Sure.
But she didn't
Okay.
want me to do
I mean,
it.
was it ever like, I wish you didn't have kids, I want to have, kids of my own with you, like,
She never knew if she wanted to have kids, but she said that, at one point she said, I'd like to give you a son.
did she know that Shanann was pregnant with a boy?
No.
Did she know Shanann was pregnant?
No.
And why is that? You just didn't tell her?
I didn't tell her. Because we had met.
But Shanann put that on Facebook. Like, how did she not see that?
I don't know. Maybe she did, and she just was waiting for me to tell her, or she put it out of her head.
Can I ask you a question? A lot of people think you named Nico after Nikki. So what was that about?
Nico was actually a name that Shanann liked.
Okay. Shanann thought of that one?
Yeah, I wanted to spell it like N-E-K-O. I thought it was like Nico that way.
Mm-hmm.
But she said N-I-C-O, and I thought it was like something like Nico or something.
Okay.
I guess Nico is more of like an Italian name.
Italian, yeah.
So, and like she did Lee for my middle name and my dad's and all that, but like Nico is like that's a name that she always liked.
Okay.
Did she name all the kids? Did she name Bella and Celeste?
Yeah, Bella because Italian means beautiful. Marie, mom's middle name. Celeste is her grandmother's name. Catherine's Shannon's middle name.
Did you have any input in their names?
I just I liked them. I was like, if we had a third child, I was gonna maybe we could have like Lee in the middle name, but I knew like the girls' names. It was, I love those names, so I was like, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like with you have little nicknames for them, like Belle and Belladine and Cece, obviously. So it was good, but yeah, Nico was, it was
Okay.
Can we go back to the house on the 13th? So, at one point, right when you got back there, Coonrod was there, Officer Coonrod, and Nicole was there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you went in the house in there for about a minute or so before you let everybody in. Remember what you were doing in there at that time?
I went into the garage,
Right.
and then I ran around and I opened the front door.
Yeah.
Opened the front door did everybody come in through the garage or the front door?
Everybody comes through the front door.
Yeah, so I came in, I went in through there, I came in and opened the front door, and I ran upstairs. And I just was like I was looking around.
Okay. That's after everybody? Did you go around the house at all before you opened the front door? No.
I didn't run around the house. I stayed down on the bottom, on the
Okay.
bottom floor, and then
Yeah.
went and opened the door.
Yeah. Okay. Just curious.
And I ran upstairs and everybody else, and that's when Nicole's son was on the phone, and I was acting like I was walking through the house.
Yeah.
Shanann had her bra on. Was that normal that she would sleep in her bra?
Every once in a while. I mean, she just got home from the plane, so she didn't even take off her makeup or anything. Maybe she was just that tired. But normally, I don't really know.
Did it not come off when you guys had sex?
I don't think so. Sometimes she just, she keeps her shirt on and she doesn't want me to do anything. Just like, she wants what she wants. She knew what she wanted. That's what she wanted.
Was it just missionary sex?
Yep.
And when her final resting place, was that just naturally what she was wearing? You didn't change her or anything like that? Okay.
Did you have to see any of that stuff? Pictures or anything? No.
I asked not to.
Okay.
They said I could. I was like, no, I don't want. I've prayed for those hazmat workers that I'm sure it was hazmat, right? I had the
You were part of it.
yeah, and like
We were all there.
We were all there.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I never wanted to see it. I just prayed for that. I'd rather have to be there. I never wanted to know what the aftermath was. And they said, like, if this ever got to ever got like a preliminary hearing, that I would have to see him just to be prepared and not have a reaction, an initial reaction. But I was like, I don't want to see him.
Do you feel like your lawyers were fair to you? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they were my only human contact, really.
Yeah.
So they're kind of like, almost like a guidance counselor almost.
Yeah. Did you feel like you were driving the bus though, with your decisions you made?
Yeah, I
or
mean,
no?
I was like, there was a lot of things I didn't really know what was going on behind the scenes. Like,
Sure.
maybe there was a lot of things they never told me. Like, like stuff that came out like afterwards, like the whole Nikki Kessinger article in Denver Post and all that kind of stuff. They told me like afterwards and everything, but I always felt like anything I was telling them, they were gonna do. Like the whole taking the plea deal and everything, I told them that's what I wanted to do, and they asked me like, seems like 100 times, are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure? Like, once you sign this, like, I guess up until sentencing, I had the time to back out, but like they always, even before we walked in the courtroom, like, are you sure? So yeah, this is it. Like, okay. They never told me this is what you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
They always just said, this is your decision, like, if you want to take this farther, and John said he was right, he had all kinds of motions written and all kinds of stuff that were like really creative, and because he'd never been in something like this before, and he was ready to fight, and I was just like, I didn't want you to have to do that. Not for me, not for something that the story isn't true. Because it would just only gotten worse.
Right.
For everybody. For all three of you, for everybody that was involved in it.
Are you still glad you did?
Yeah, I mean, I never thought I'd be in prison the rest of my life, but like I don't want people to have to keep going through this every day of their lives, knowing that there's a trial hanging over their head, or I mean, if it ever got that far, I don't know.
Yeah.
But like, I didn't want people to have to relive it every day.
Yeah.
Did they have to ever see the pictures?
Wait, say that again?
Did they have to ever see the pictures? Frank and Sandy and all that?
No, they've never seen it.
They saw some things.
They didn't see anything of that.
Okay.
Yeah, we shielded that from them.
That's one thing. I just didn't want them to have to see anything or hear anybody talk about anything or any part of it. Or like, anybody bashed their daughter, like anybody to ruin, like, to hear what, some of my friends had a negative, impact on her, from her, or like had a description of her that didn't match, something like that. I didn't want them to hear that either. Like, I didn't want them, like, anybody have to trash her memory. Like, I wanted like them to know, like, she's a loving wife, she's beautiful, she always helped everybody else, all her friends, her Lucas friends, everybody. I just wanted, I didn't want anybody to take away from what she did.
We tried to get you to say that night. I know. But do you remember that?
I remember. I was just like,
I know you obviously weren't ready to say that then.
I know. It's like, like after my dad left, we both came in and like, all right, we got most of the story. Let's get to the true story. I'm just like, I just wanted to bang my head against the table.
But in the end, I think you did the right thing. And even though it's hard to hear, there's a lot of people who thank you for what you did. I think your whole life has been thinking of others, except for one brief moment. I think you really did think of others when you made that choice. So I personally thank you, right? Because it would have been hard for the three of us to go through about this hard, and for everyone else about that hard, right?
Yeah, it was anybody that was family or friends.
Right.
It would have been, just exponentially harder for everybody.
Yeah. I think you did the right thing.
So you haven't told your parents what happened? You just told them I'm pleading guilty for a reason?
Yeah, I've told them, like, on the phone, even, because they're still, I don't know.
You should fight it. You should get...
They've got letters from, like, Australia, from England, I mean, of, like, the 35C in Colorado and stuff, like, improper counsel or something like that.
Ineffective counsel.
Ineffective counsel. And, I mean, some of the stuff they've, they said about, the dry patch, how it's not like FDA approved, how it can alter somebody's mind, like something. It was some kind of condition, but there was something else they call like CPSD, complex post-traumatic stress disorder, something like that. Have been like, some people from England have had it. It's like they've been in an emotionally abusive relationship and stuff like that. I mean, just like, some of those subjects they put in there, like, yeah, I can relate to it, but like it doesn't make up for the fact what happened. But like they've got a lot of support they've got a lot of hate mail, a lot of phone calls, a lot of like stuff like that. I wish they never happened, but they get some support, which is good. But on the phone, they still think there's a chance that I could get out.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to ever think your kid's going away forever. Like,
yeah,
you don't want to fathom it.
They tell me to fight it, like, they don't, not every day, but on their bad days, they'll get a bad message or a bad letter, and then I'll just kind of revert back.
Is it more your mom or your dad?
My mom, she loses it a lot.
Yeah.
On the phone, my dad's usually trying to, like, hey, don't talk about this stuff on the phone with him. Because it's just gonna rile you up, and it's gonna make him go back to his cell, and he's gonna just kind of think about that all night.
Right.
And that happens a lot.
Yeah.
Would you ever want them to know what you're telling us today?
I'd rather just tell them myself.
Yeah.
So they're coming. I think they're gonna try to make a visit in like May or so.
So they don't. Do they still think that Shanann killed the girls?
They still believe that, even though I told them I pled guilty for a reason, but they think that I was, their words, like, railroaded by belief.
Yeah.
Because they felt like they pressured me to do it.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that?
No.
No.
No, they asked me plenty of times. This is like, they wanted to fight. Like, if I said fight, they would have just, gone and...
Put on their gloves?
Yep. Just went in there and did it. Yeah, it's like, no, I can't have you do that.
So Chris, you care about others deeply. I can tell. You worry about others. And I've asked you, a bunch of times today, but you're not just telling us that you did it because you feel bad for Shanann's memory. You did it? Okay.
I have to say, like, after this was all over, people would bring up, like, oh my gosh, I bet you're going to find out that Chris, used to torture animals and, all this stuff. You can imagine, like, hearing that someone's capable of that, what have they done in their past, those kinds of things. Can you think back to your past at all, like your childhood, and think about any other moments that maybe you felt this same rage? I mean, obviously didn't do anything like that, but maybe felt that rage, and like what would have triggered that, or anything like that?
Not really. I mean, I was always like somebody that tried to coax people down, not to, like, if somebody wanted to fight somebody else. I think I got in a fight like when I was in 3rd grade, but it was like, we ripped each other's shirt, went away crying.
Mm-hmm.
It was like stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, why did I do that? And like maybe that was like my only like bad thing I did in school. So I can't think of
Did you feel it on the inside, whether you didn't act it out? Like, did you feel like if someone bullied you at school, or if someone whatever, like, would it still be inside you? Like, did you feel like that even though you didn't actually act on it?
I don't believe it's because I was always, I never really talked to many people. So I never, people knew who I was, but they didn't really, I never really spoke to many people. That's why I never really had a girlfriend in high school. I was always kind of like, just fly under the radar.
Did you feel like you had low self-esteem?
I won't say low self-esteem. It was just like, I didn't want to be part of like a group or a clique. I just like, I had a couple friends, and I sat at the lunch table with them, or sat out, they call it like the fish pond area, and just chilled out there. I didn't really want a whole lot of friends, just kind of like just close knit, and I just wasn't out there. I mean, like I said, people knew who I was, but it wasn't a matter of like I was popular or anything.
Mm-hmm. Can you attribute that to anything in your childhood? Why you were like
my
that?
sister was always the popular one.
Uh-huh.
She was more like my mom, like more like outgoing, and like me and my grandma would always sit outside in middle school waiting for her to come out and pick her up, and she'd always be the last one out. She'd talk to everybody, And my grandmother always like, where's she at? Does she know we're waiting? But, you know, I was just the opposite of her.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, sometimes you have kids that are like the same, and some of you have opposite. Me and my sister are completely opposite. Maybe I just drew on that I didn't want to be the popular one. I wanted to be just, you know, just a regular guy.
Mm-hmm.
So there was not really like bullying or not like I remember. Nobody ever really came up to me or wanted to fight me or.
Never got made fun of, never.
No, I mean, I had braces and I had like a bowl cut for a while. I guess could have made fun.
I think most kids did.
The 80s and 90s were cruel.
Yeah, it's like the Jim Carrey cut with the bowl on your head. Just shake them around. But yeah, I don't think there was anything that would be pent up inside me
From childhood.
childhood.
I know you talked about your dad having an addiction when I was talking to you.
That was after I left. Left home.
Was it cocaine or something, or?
It was some type of powder. I'm not sure if I guess
Okay.
it's cocaine. I guess
How do you think that affected you?
I don't think it affected me. Well, it did affect me, but it didn't like take like deep down. It didn't like really hurt as much as I thought it would. It was kind of weird because when I think of my mom and my sister told me, like when they talked to him about it, it didn't seem to register. Like I said, like he would just change subject, and like when I talked about it, he immediately changed subject. I was like, because they found like, you know, cuts on his like CDs and stuff where he would like, you know, like separate it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because he at a car dealership, I mean, you find guys that do that kind of stuff all the time, I guess. But he was just coping with like, I never came back home, and it was before I met Shanann, and it was just.
Did you feel guilty that he's now using drugs because he never came back home, like he lost his kid?
No, I never really knew why he was doing it. After the fact, I knew it was because he was coping with that, but I never knew why he really actually turned to drugs. My mom thought he was having an affair because like, all this money was going somewhere else just for the drugs. But like I'm not myself, I never used drugs, so I always try to tell him like, hey, like what's going on? Like why you need to use this? And just like you could be using this for a whole lot better things. You know, just don't throw your life away. I mean, like, because you could see in his face, like, you know, it's like eyes, or like everything was getting like, you know, like the drugs through your face, and like your skin was getting all loose, and like he was losing a lot of weight.
Mm-hmm.
His nose was bleeding all the time, and all kinds of stuff like that. And I was just telling him like, hey, you know, you smoked like every day of your life since you were like 15 or 16. You're like, you know, I can't get you to stop that, but I can get you to stop this.
Right.
And he put it away, I guess, pretty quick after I talked to him about it.
Do you think you were closer to your dad than your mom?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we always went to races together, and you know, he always came to my sports, played for a couple school sports, rec ball, all that kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah.
My mom would come too sometimes, and my dad was always there.
Always, yeah.
Even if I wasn't playing, he'd just come there just in case I can't win in there.
Aww.
So that's cool.
Yeah. Well, I wondered if they hadn't visited because they weren't ready to visit, or if it was a money thing, or you know, like
Is it here
getting
or?
the time off.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you. Like,
Is it here?
Yeah, visit here.
Well, I just told him like, well, they can't drive in the snow, so it's kind of like, you know, I don't want. It's
These
just,
roads are bad.
Yeah, it's I think it's like an hour from either Madison Airport, whichever
Yep.
way it is. I told him like wait till springtime.
Good advice.
Yeah.
It's pretty brutal.
It was yesterday.
Do they have money to get here?
They sold my toolbox to get some money to come out here.
Okay.
So yeah, so they'll come out here like they said April, but I was like, you know, just maybe push it till June. They say they can sometimes have a blizzard out here in April sometimes too.
Yeah,
Like
the late spring blizzard, yeah.
so lake effect stuff is crazy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And how are you doing mentally?
I mean, the first time when I first, I mean, I didn't know I was coming here. Obviously, I mean, they just when I was at DRDC, like
They swooped you up, didn't they?
I was there a week. Like first day I got there, they put me through the ringer. Like I had like 11 tests to do, like mental tests, like reading, math, all kinds of stuff just to see where my IQ was. And then I just sat there the rest of the week. And then Sunday came along, and after dinner they said, "All right, strip down and put this on." I'm like, okay. And then walked outside and put me in the van. And it's like, good. I had no idea what was going on. And then we stopped in Sterling, which really freaked me out. I was just like, I don't want to do this, because I heard so many horror stories about that place. And they just stopped to use the bathroom, and then we kept going.
In the prison? Do they use the bathroom at the prison?
Yeah, it was like at the watchtower outside.
Oh.
And we went into Nebraska, sheriff's office there, and then another sheriff's office in Iowa. Used the bathroom, ate breakfast, and then got here. I asked him, I only talked to him once. I'm like, can you tell me, like, where we're going? Like, just to destination state? He was like, I don't know. So it was like one of those, like, transport vans, like, where it was, like, had just the middle where I was sitting there, and I could see out the window, and I could see, like, they would put in an address each time. Like, they had, like, 4 sets of addresses to each one they had to go to. They just would never tell me where we were going to end up.
What did they say your IQ was?
I was like 140, 135 or something like that.
Is that high? I don't even know what.
That's good. That's above average.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was tipping back to high school for real. I'm like,
The train parts of the city and all that stuff.
yeah, there was a lot of word problems, a lot of like geometry, a lot of like patterns. Like if this was moved this way, and then there was like a series of them. Like, all right, what's this one gonna be? Just a lot of stuff like that. But like the further you got along, the harder it got. I was just like, it's like great. And it was like they give you this little take that pen and take the little tube out in the middle, and that's where you're using to fill in these little Scantron sheets and everything. I felt like I was in high school again.
Do you know how long you're going to be here? Neither do I, by the way. And do you know, are you going to get a job?
If since I'm staying here, or since I've got staffed here, you have to work.
Oh, so what's your job now?
I don't have one yet.
Okay.
They haven't moved me out of the acceptance and evaluation, assessment and evaluation
You're
project.
still in that phase? Okay. And how long will that take?
Oh, right now, like since I've been staffed here, I'm just waiting for them to move me over to a different unit.
And are you in Gen Pop right now?
No, I'm in a unit. There's like 11 or 12 of us on there. There was like 22 when I first got there, but they've been transferred to the other prisons around Wisconsin.
And what are the other guys like?
They're fine. Like the first time, like I sat out and ate like a breakfast or lunch with them, I was scared.
Are you nervous, scared?
Yeah, I was just like, this hasn't happened. Like, since this never happened.
Yeah.
Like I said, they locked the hallways down when I got moved to Colorado.
Yeah, well, I've heard that. Yeah.
So it was like, being next, like right like this, eating next to somebody. I was just like, so you're gonna like take a spork and try to stab me or something, or what? But it's totally different here. I mean, people know who I am, but like they don't like run at me or jump at me or like. Apparently they the guys that work here, they know that I guess other maxes are like you lock down like 23, 22 hours a day.
Oh, so then this isn't all right place to be?
For like
By
other
comparison?
max guys.
Good.
Yeah. They said it's the best max but the worst medium.
Oh.
Because if you're max, you're working, so you're out at your cell working, like if you're a clerk or if you're in the kitchen or if you're in the rec area, you're doing something.
Okay.
But yeah, they said like if you get stabbed here, it'll be best for you. Plus, they say it's not as like rowdy as some of the other places.
Yeah.
Oh, man, it's pretty intense.
Yeah. So like, I mean, I'm going to the GP area. I just don't know when.
And you think it'll be while you're here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And
Yeah,
where
they said like I guess it could take it takes a while to get moved from max to medium because in Colorado I was classified as minimum restrictive, but with the charges it would have been medium, but here it's automatically max.
And what are the other guys in for? Do you know?
They said most guys in here are for like gang snitches and sex offenders and mainly people that have 20 years or more.
So people who were in for a long time and who would otherwise have a pretty hard time at a jail
Yeah.
for whatever they did,
Yeah.
whether it be snitching or
Yeah, like
children or...
yeah, or there's some people from other states here as well, and I guess there's a couple cops here too.
Okay.
Just just things have happened, and they just don't think it'd be better. It'd be a lot better if they're here and not at another prison.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what kind of jobs are available? I mean,
Well, it's like they'll probably have me in the kitchen more than like that's where everybody starts out, like either washing dishes or like putting foods on the trays or helping pots and pans, something like that.
Right.
But they have like libraries. They have like I think this is the PSU area, the psych area, so they'll have like different guys doing clerk stuff around here. I mean they have over like 300 GP guys here that are like live here. So they have a job for every one of them.
Wow.
There's even a guy that shovels the sidewalks.
I think we saw him.
Yeah, we saw him. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to be that guy.
Not here.
Do you go to therapy? Do you see a psychologist?
There's actually the one her name's like Javier or something like that. She seems like once a month, and she's actually from Aurora.
Really?
Yeah, it was weird. I walked in there, I saw a Bronco flag. I'm like, okay, who are you? But yeah, it's.
So does she give you therapy, or?
No, she just like talks to me just to see if I need anything, or if like if I need psych meds, or if I need anything like that, which I've declined all that stuff. But most people in my unit have meds. That's
just to have them, or do you think they need them?
Well, it's like a special management unit. Like they just put me on there to keep me away from GP, and like most people either like just have like some type of medication they're on.
But you don't take anything?
No, they just keep me on there until the security advisor says he can get moved to GP down the hall.
What kind of stuff, like food and stuff, do you miss the most from the outside?
Food?
Yeah.
Well, I know from my last time in North Carolina, Bojangles, that was really good. I don't know if you guys ever go to North Carolina or no?
Is that barbecue?
It's chicken and biscuits.
Mm.
And that barbecue place down the street from Frederick PD.
Mm-hmm.
Forget what.
Smokehouse.
Yeah.
Georgia Boys.
Yeah. That one. Yeah, the burn ends. I miss that. And just I miss Shanann's cooking. That's for sure. Like her spaghetti sauce and her fried pizza.
Yeah.
Fried pizza?
I don't think I've heard of that. What is that?
I've never heard of that.
So her mom has, or I think it was her mom, her grandmother on her mom's side had this this dough, homemade dough you can make, and just make up the dough, and she would make it up with Bella and Celeste sometimes, so like a little smaller one, but she would make the really big one, and then she would put it in the oven, the bottom oven, and let it sit there for a couple hours, not put it on or anything, just let it rise.
Mm-hmm.
And then once it's done, take it out, form it, throw the spaghetti sauce she has, and spread it around, and throw the mozzarella and pepperoni and put it on the oven 350. And
But what part of it is fried though?
well, they have some parts that you can put on the grill. You can put it on the put it on the stove too.
Okay.
It's really good. I mean, it's really thick.
Yeah.
So you got
Apparently we need this from
Yeah.
Sandy.
I will work on that.
Yes. Write a note.
yeah.
Are you able to stay out of trouble here?
Yeah.
Nobody's getting any fights? You're not getting written up for anything? You're not getting...
I try to keep a low profile here, so I don't want to. Because they say if you get like 2 contact reports, they'll ship you out if you work here.
To another location?
Yeah.
Oh, so then does that incentivize people keeping their nose down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I guess a couple guys got busted for having a cell phone.
Oh.
How they got it in?
No kidding.
Yeah.
Like, that stuff just baffles my mind, how that stuff gets to...
I mean, they won't even let, like, if somebody sends me a letter and it has, like, like, someone sent me a Christmas card with glitter on it. They'll let me have it because it's glitter. Because, like, it's contraband. So, like, yeah, I don't know how people get cell phones and stuff in here.
So what do you do with all these letters that are coming into you?
Most of them, like, I just have, like, this... If somebody writes me once, I'll never write them. Just because I don't know, like, who they are, like, where they're from. I'll keep it. If it's like a weird letter, I'll shred it up, throw it away. If it's like a supportive letter, I'll keep it around, just like a supportive letter. And then like I've had some people like write me like a second and third time, but they've changed the way they talk, or like they've said different things. Like there's like this dude in like California that wrote me. He's a senior in high school, and wrote me. He's like, okay, dude. I look at the name, like, okay, shred it up, threw it away. He wrote me again, like 2 weeks ago. Totally different. Like, never mentioned like his age, never mentioned his setting. Like, hey, like I support you. I'm like all this, like that. Like, if I didn't recognize his name, I would have known like he was just an 18-year-old kid, senior, trying to just like probably just get information, trying to, you know, because there's been like journalists and like other people like you could kind of tell like they ask a lot of questions, but I tried to like take into effect who's writing me and like just not to respond. Like I've responded to a few people just because like either my parents have talked to them on the outside and then I kind of know, okay, it's a real person.
Oh.
But like there's some people that like it seems like they're just trying like to get help for themselves too. Like some people ask like, you know, like just for spiritual advice.
They're asking for spiritual advice from you.
Yeah, like, you know, if they're not asking about the case, I'll write them back. If they ask about the case, I don't write them back.
Yeah.
You think you'll be in love again? There's a lot of women out there that are in love with you.
No. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm not the guy that's down the street or whatever it is. I've heard enough about that guy since I've been here.
What have you heard about him?
He got engaged over a letter.
He did, yeah.
That's pretty insane. But yeah, I don't see myself being in love ever again.
Do you have some ladies that are giving you a lot of, like, just telling you that they're in love with you and that kind of stuff?
Well, I've had a couple letters that have been like, you know, I hear you get a lot of letters from lady friends that tell you all you need to know. I'm like, I don't get those letters. Trust me. Like I guess there was one letter in Colorado, someone sent me a picture of them in a bikini, and then it's like went on from there. That was like the only letter I ever got. That was like that, but the press took it and just went with it.
Yeah.
Do you ever get requests from the press?
Mm-hmm.
And how does that work?
Just tear it up, throw it away.
So are you personally are declining?
Well, I don't like, you know, writing back.
Would they allow you to talk with them? Would they allow them in here to talk with you?
I don't know. I guess some stations have asked to come in here and talk to me, but they have told them no.
Oh.
But I've gotten letters from like, you know, Denver stations and whatnot wanting to talk to me. And then quotation marks off the record. I'm like, yeah, right. Okay. Anything I write.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep. So yeah, I just tear it up, throw it away.
Have you thought about, like, writing a book or anything like that?
No, that's, you know, nothing like that.
What
My mom and dad. Sorry, what was it?
No, go ahead.
My mom and dad are saying maybe you should like write down like how you feel or like, you know, how you've been dealing with this type thing. Just write it down, and that would be my story. But I'm just like, I'm not writing a book. That's not me. I mean, I've always had a really crazy imagination. As well, like when I was a kid, like I even convinced my teacher I went to Japan over the summer or to China or something. But she said, you know, like, you know, you should just write down, like, you know, your story, like, how you've coped with this.
Why did you convince your teacher you had gone to another country?
It was just, like, what you did over the summer. And I was like, oh, it's China. I'm going to start writing. And she actually believed it. I was really convincing.
So you're a smart dude.
Yeah. It was, and they, like, parent-teacher conference said, so how was China? What? Nope.
So earlier you were talking about how this experience you're gonna want to help people. What do you mean by that?
So like this couple letters that I've gotten, like this one girl, she's in like an abusive relationship and she just can't find a relationship like with God. And like I never read the Bible before all this. Like in Weld County, I read it because, you know,
Right.
in the segregation hole there, it was like that was the only book I got. And I was like, okay. I read it cover to cover, and I never thought I could, being how many pages were in the Bible, but
Right.
it stuck with me, and like I've been reading it more and more here. Like I got a different version here. I've just been reading it and just writing down like a couple scriptures a day, like to give to my mom and dad. And they've been like making a little journal and stuff like that. And my Uncle Johnny and his wife Martha, they're actually missionaries, and one of my cousins is actually as well, and they've been helping my mom and dad, and they looked at a couple of my letters, and they were amazed at how mature I've gotten with like the Bible and everything, the scripture and everything. Just like one gift that I did get was a good memory, as far as like being able to memorize stuff.
Right.
And like that's what happened with cars and with the oil field. I can just memorize acronyms like that, and I've been memorizing a lot of different scripts. I can just kind of like help people that way. And just like there's been inmates that have left my unit and went to a different place and have written me just to ask like, can you give me a couple of scriptures to help me through this? Like, do you know of any? I can help somebody that way.
Yeah, that's good.
Do you get to go to school or anything?
They don't have any of those programs here.
Oh, they don't.
It's a acceptance or evaluation prison, so they don't. I think this is when they have the sex offender class in here.
Mm.
That's the only thing they really have.
You can go to that?
No. No, I always ask, like, why do people go in there? And they're like, you don't want to go in that class. Like, oh,
You stay away from that
okay.
class.
I'm like, okay. Yeah, that's the only thing they have here. But they have other, like, that's like the map of the prisons they have here.
Yeah, I was looking at that earlier.
Oh, wow.
They have a lot here.
Yeah, like 3 right in this area.
Yep, they're right around here. I was just amazed that one thing I did see out the window when I first, there was like a neighborhood that's right next to the prison.
Yeah.
So it's like, is
I
that
thought the same thing.
Yeah.
weird? Because like in Colorado, it seems like they're all like out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
Right.
Sterling's in the middle,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Okay. Easy.
Well, we might take a little break right now.
Well,
I think it's almost time for you to eat lunch.
Yeah.
Like 20 minutes.
Felt like the polygraph. Everything just like. I look up the time. I'm like, oh wow.
It's been 4 hours. Holy cow.
They might let us come back and talk to you.
Okay,
There might be a couple more things we want to go over.
Okay.
Is that something you're up for?
that's fine.
Okay. And then the other thing is, we might be back in a month and a year and 2 years, if you're up for it.
Okay.
Now that's way down the road, but I guess maybe in the back of your mind, just think about that. And, I hope so far today's been all right for you.
Yeah, it's been. Honestly, when I walked in, I was just like, wait, I know these
Where do I
people.
know these guys?
I looked at you. I'm like that's not the site counselor. That's oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
They're Colorado people.
Then let's pass that A&E sergeant. I was like, all right, who am I meeting? I go. It's not the A&E sergeant.
Yeah. So, there's a possibility we might not make it back today. I just want to let you know, but
Okay.
we might. We really appreciate you talking to us.
Thanks
Yeah.
for coming.
Yeah.
Total took me off guard. I didn't know ideas of that.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, this isn't your case is over. It's closed. So that's not what today's about.
Okay.
We really appreciate it. You did a lot of things really well, really good. You made a lot of good decisions. And obviously we're here because of just one bad decision, but I think that you've taken steps to get past that. So yeah, we might come back after lunch if that's all right.
That's fine.
Okay.
Cool.
I'm gonna go see if I can grab somebody.
What airport you guys fly into?
Yeah,
I think I had the better drive.
I think you probably did too.
Mine was like 50 minutes. Theirs was like 2 hours.
Yeah,
It was snowing. It's pretty
snow.
nasty
Lake
out there.
effect.
Yeah, the wind's blowing.
Not like wind like Colorado then?
So it's a hell of a lot colder.
Yeah.
Well, and yeah, the roads aren't getting cleared like they would get cleared in Colorado. I think they just have so much.
Yeah,
you
it
know,
just
that-
comes in and just dumps.
Yeah.
Colorado, it just melts within a couple hours
Right.
here. Just honestly, I haven't seen it melt here since I got
Well, that's the
here.
thing. Everyone's
Yeah, it's
houses are just
piles.
piled, you know, like, oh, it's the next snow, and they just pile it on top. So it doesn't look like anything melts.
No.
Which is the problem. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you guys go outside for rec or anything, or?
No, not when has to be over 50 degrees.
Oh, so you won't be out for a while.
No, they have like a rec, like a little basketball court down the hall from where my unit is. So we get there about 5 days a week for like 40 minutes.
Nice.
So it's a good chance to just get out and just run around a little bit, just
Mhm.
stretch your legs a little bit.
Yeah.
Any weights or anything you can use?
Yeah, there's some weights in there. We go with another unit, and they're it's the infirmary unit that goes with us, and most of them are like in wheelchairs and whatnot.
Mhm.
So we're kind of like I just let them do. I don't want to get in their way. Just like let them like there's like the pull downs and the
Right.
lats and all that kind of road machine and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, but I think they have like a track or something like there you can run around.
Yeah.
Once we go outside.
Mm-hmm.
Colorado, they let you go outside. Like, I never went outside, but like at the DRDC, they just said, "Do you want to go outside? Let you go outside. That's cold." Thanks.
Buyer beware.
Like, hey, should I go eat more wreck today? You're like, no. Like, no, it's like 30 degrees outside. You can go outside if you want. It's like, okay. But their version of rec was like they'll put you out in a little cage and let you like kind of walk around for a little bit.
Yeah.
At DRDC. It was a little different there.
Hey, if we don't want to come back, I just want to let you know, I talked to your dad the other day.
Okay.
And just to get your property released to him.
Oh, that phone and stuff?
Yeah,
okay.
your phone and what else?
Wallet.
Your wallet.
Okay.
Yeah, and we have some other things too, so. But I have to wait for the DA to release all that stuff and then
Okay.
red tape crap. So.
Gotcha.
But then we'll send it off to him.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know he wanted my phone, just that there was a
Yeah.
lot of pictures on there.
That's what he said.
I think I had that phone since like 2016, so there's a good amount on there.
Yeah.
If we don't make it back today, it's going to be because of some of their scheduling. It's not that we don't want to talk to you some more.
Oh, this is fine.
There's more things we can talk about.
Okay.
But if we don't make it back, that's why.
Okay. Yeah, it's a holiday, so I figured they'd be pretty much open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't see many people walking through the hallways when I came down here. Usually there's a ton.
Of visitors or what?
No, just a ton of people, just like workers walking up and down.
Did seem
I
pretty
see.
sparse.
Yeah, it did seem sparse, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That was one thing I was shocked about when I walked around here. I was always used to seeing everybody in handcuffs walking around the hallways.
Mm.
Here, walking up and down.
That is interesting, right? I thought the same thing. I couldn't tell who was who.
Yeah, it's like
You can't necessarily
you
tell.
You see the red tag, it's like an inmate, but it's somebody else. It's somebody who works here.
Oh.
Or like somebody that's like actual civilian who works here.
So then you're not in shackles and handcuffs that often?
I haven't been since I got here.
You're kidding. Huh.
That's why I was amazed. I was like, when the guy took me in the hallway, I was like, anything? No, just keep walking.
Yeah.
That's my psych counselor was saying, this isn't a max when she first got here. He's like, no, it's like max or something. They just like, you know, if you want to act up, they'll
If you
put
want
you
to
in
abuse it, you'll earn those shackles back.
Oh yeah, they'll put you in handcuffs, take you to the hole,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then they'll ship you out of here.
They have a solitary here?
Oh yeah, they'll strap you out to the bed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Jeez.
You can't move.
Yeah.
A little reminder of, yeah, behave, right?
Yeah, it's like don't
Not that you need it,
don't
but-
pass food, don't pass anything that's not yours. Otherwise, you're gonna.
Do you get to buy like commissary and stuff?
It's different here. It's like a bubble sheet instead of like Colorado is like a little touch screen you can do.
Uh-huh.
But here it's like a little Scantron. You send it off to like Missouri, and it's the same company, but it just takes longer to get here.
Mm.
Yeah, it's
Like what kind of stuff can you buy?
like ramen soup and peanut butter and oatmeal, like lemonade mix, stuff like that. I usually just get the oatmeal and the ramen soup.
Do your parents put money on your books then?
Yeah, I'm not sure how like that restitution stuff's gonna work. I'm sure like that'll like whoever sent me money on the canteen will probably like it'll take a little bit of it too.
Oh yeah.
Just right here.
Okay.
Just ready?
Yeah.
All right.